I'm in that mood.
Good morning, my fellow Tottenham fans, and welcome back to the Irish Hotspur with your boy Big Dave, bringing you your pre-match build-up as Tottenham travel to Birmingham to take on Aston Villa in what is a season-defining game for, I would say, Tottenham. Big game today, Darrell. How are you keeping, sir?
Yeah, big Dave, big Dermo. You know, the deadly duo back again. I'm going to say one thing. It's feck you at this ungodly hour in the morning. But yeah, I'm fine. Looking forward to it. Pumped up. Can't wait. And you're going to pump me up even more. There's going to be more holes in my house before the game starts. So thanks, Dave, for having me on. It's always a pleasure coming on here anyway. And good morning to everyone watching.
Well, look, Dharma, you can't blame me. We'll get onto it in a minute and we'll blame
Liverpool.
I know that. Kickoff, and I'll tell everyone the reason why our game is being put at an unusual time. It actually made me nearly cry. I'm sick of everyone pandering around Liverpool all the time. I'm absolutely fed up with it. But Dharma, did you watch the rugby last night just before we get going, my man?
Don't talk about the rugby, Dave.
Don't
talk about the rugby.
I don't get it, right? You got, a minute and a half left on the clock. Just carry the ball for a couple of phases and they just kick it straight back. Absolute mindless. Did you watch Anthony Joshua and Ngannou Friday night?
I watched the highlights actually on YouTube. What a fucking punch. I'll tell you, he would give Fury a run for his money. And I don't think Fury's going to beat Usyk either, by the way. I really don't. I think Usyk's going to beat Fury. Fury's all that at the moment.
If the fight happens, it'll be an absolute cracker. Absolute cracker. But anyway, hopefully we deliver one of them devastating blows to Aston Villa today. But guys, I think we will be joined by Philip Brady in a little while, potentially Paul Hotspur as well. I know it's early and stuff like that, so we'll give the guys a little bit of time. But look, we'll bring up the everything everyone needs to actually know. We won't. We'll welcome some people in first, and then we'll bring up everything everyone needs to know. Big up, Ribsy. Good to see you in the build, my man. Absolute massive game today. Let's go, sir. Stevie Fraser says, morning, big day. Let's make a statement. Come on, you Spurs. Definitely agree with that. No better time than now heading into the run-in, my man. We've got George Caradaras says, good day, all. Payback will be glorious. I absolutely hope we get payback today, my man. That it still hurts that that loss we took at our place earlier on in the season. What I will say is, though, we did have a number of players out. Today we've got more or less full fit squad to pick from. Richarlison really the only player missing of note there. So hopefully it'll be a different story at the end of today, my man. We also have Rekka V. Menon says, Werner brace incoming. Look, I did enjoy getting out my Werner on the dance floor last week, and I wouldn't mind another goal today just to add the icing on the cake. We've got Spurs GCTV. Good morning, guys. 3 massive points incoming. Come on, you Spurs. I hope you're right. We really could do with it. We can't afford to lose this today, because if we do, Aston Villa got 8 points clear. I know we've got a game in hand, but you got to bear in mind that is against Chelsea. We don't do well at Stamford Bridge, so I do think today is a must-win for Tottenham. Spurs GCTV, also member for 5 months. Smash the likes and subscribe, everyone. Big up Spurs GCTV. Really appreciate the support, brother. Top man. We have Faz Radfar, 3-1 Spurs. Big up Fazzy. How you keeping, my man? Big up my favorite channel. Hope you're all well. A must win for and I am certain we will win 3-1 today. Come on, you Spurs watching on TV. I do hope we get the win today. I'll definitely take a 3-1. Look, I'll take a 1-0 or a 2-1. I really don't care. I just want to get the 3 points on the board today. Faz, we also got a Tottenham Hotspur Fan TV, a big win incoming. Come on, you Spurs. Big yourself up, by the way. I really appreciate you, my man. Seen your comment yesterday as well. Absolute legend. We also have NJ123. Morning all, lads. Or morning all. Big up, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, NJ. Good to see you in the building. We've got Dermatron saying hi to everyone in the chat. Everyone big him up. We also have Paul Tucknott. Morning, everyone. Game day here at last. Let our football do the talking. Come on, you Spurs. That we definitely need to let happen today. I'd argue we probably need to put in our best performance of the season, and let's see how we get on. We also have Phil Coy's. Morning, Spurs fans. Biggest game of the season today. No one half performance today. A full 90 minutes performance is needed. Let's get behind them today. Come on, you Spurs. Up the lads. No, I agree with you. I don't think we'll get away with putting in a 1/2 performance today. I do think we have to put in a full 90. I think it's going to be very physical first half. I think either team's going to have to earn the right to play, Phil. And then, look, we're just going to have to try and capitalize on it from there, my man. But, look, I definitely agree with you. I want to find out where everyone is actually after that Palace game. I've got a question in there about it, so everyone make sure you give me answers when I give it. Just give me a couple more seconds, get a few more names in here, and then we'll crack on. We've got Bader says, big up, everyone. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Bader. Good to see you in the building. We have Amin Correa, Villa 2, Spurs 2. I hope we get a big win. Shem Tan says, morning, boys. Come on, you Spurs. We need a win today and a big performance. Big up, Shem. Good to see you in the house. Paddy, great to see you, my man. How are you keeping? Let me know. Morning, gents. Looking forward to the watch along. Love your work, Dave. Really appreciate that, my man. Look, put a lot of time and effort into it, so I'm glad it's appreciated for sure. And look, hopefully the watch along, yeah, you get the singing and dancing, Dave. That'll be absolutely brilliant. Paddy Harnett, morning, folks. Payback today is a must. Forget about hammering cash. Him to score an OG on the 98th minute for Spurs to win would be far nicer. Look, Paddy, I don't want us to get sort of embroiled up in that today. I think earlier on in the season, I'd send someone out to absolutely assassinate him because you've got time to recover. Now that's the business end of the season, and it's sort of a do not lose game today. I think cool heads have to prevail. Get the job done, get out of there, and move on to next week. What we can't afford to do is get any stupid bookings, sort of get embroiled and involved in, Villa's antics, basically. We've just got to park that to one side and let our football do the talking. You're absolutely spot on. We also have Dallas Youngmin's son, hat-trick 3-2. Scored a hat-trick there a few years ago, so I wouldn't write it off. Shamu Van Spurs, good to see you, my man. 2 a.m. kickoff. Do not let me down. Wow. It's a late one, sir. Tigaro, SPT, big up, Dave. Big game for the lads. Absolute huge game today, my man. I cannot wait to get going. Big up me as well. Good to see you. I don't know whether it's Mother's Day in England or not. In the UK, I know it's Mother's Day over here. So if it is, happy Mother's Day to you. Hopefully the two lads got you something nice. We also have Brainy Chinese watching from China. Big up. Really appreciate that. Good to see you in the building. Big up, Tony. 4-1 win today. Come on, Timo. Hat-trick. Great to see you. We also have Let's Break It Down, Aston Villa. If you're a Villa fan, no, definitely not. Definitely not. And then we've got one more to welcome in here. We've got William McKenzie, 2AM gang. Good to see you in the house, William. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. And then we've got Hotspur Hippie. It's been a while. Let's bring him back. Paul, how are you keeping, sir?
Man, thank you so much for texting me, man. I thought kickoff wasn't for another 5 hours, and I thought, what's Harris on? Harris on? He's bloody keen. Was he doing a 5-hour build up or something? And so no, I'm good, man. Good to be back here. How you going, you two? Nice to see you.
Yeah, good, Paul. Good.
Yeah.
You asleep, well?
No, well, I'm not going to sleep now, am I? I'm excited now.
No, he's sleepwalking. He doesn't know he's there. He's just. I just want to know, Paul, which stadium are you at behind you?
Oh, that was. Oh, I forgot to change it. That was for the Asian Cup.
No, is that the one in Uruguay? Is that the stadium in Uruguay?
No, it'd be somewhere in Asia. I'm not. It would be. I don't know. I was just in a blur because I'm letting Dave down. I'm late to the party, so that it's football. It's football.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right, Paul. We'll take you around the back of the sheds after the stream to give you a good going over. Don't worry, we'll punish you.
Yeah, along with Matty Cash, hopefully.
And Paul, my man, you never let me down, my man. Even if you text me saying you couldn't make it, I bloody understand. We're at completely different timescales of the day. But look, it is great to have you back. We'll just take this comment from Phil Coyce, give everyone everything they need to know, and then we'll get in and start talking about this game. Phil, member for 17 months, really appreciate the service. Lad says, Villa will suit us today. They won't play a low block. Going to be end-to-end. Can see a 3-2 to Spurs, late winner by Sonny like last time. Look, I fully understand everyone's expecting Aston Villa to come with that high line today. I think it'd be absolute suicide if Emery does that today. Part of me I don't think he will. I think he'll adjust that line. I think he'll try and sit it, deep enough that if we try to play any balls in behind the top to get Werner or sit in behind, that'll just be enough for Martinez maybe to come off the line and sweep stuff up. I don't think they're going to come with the high line that everyone's expecting. It's Unai Emery. He comes from the school of thought where he's sort of, he's not about patterns of play and persistence and stuff like that. He will change it up from time to time. So let's wait and see whether he actually does come with that high line first. If he does fail, it's goodbye Aston Villa. We'll definitely take the win, my man. 3-2. I'd absolutely love it. And with Sonny, I think he's got 5 in his last 3 appearances at Villa Park. So I do expect him to turn up today, Phil. And then we also have Moondog. Good morning, lads and chat. 4-1 to us. Come on, you Spurs. Moondog's got out the right side of the bed today, which I absolutely love. Who's first goal scorer for us today? Please let us know, Moondog. But good to see you in the building, sir. Right, guys, everything you need to know. Of course, the game is being played at Villa Park. Kickoff is at 1 p.m., which I'm going to address right after this. Referee is Chris Kavanagh. In the VAR room, it's Tim Robinson. If anyone knows that and about Tim, as he pissed me off and let me down this season, please let me know. And then on the TV, in the UK and Ireland, it's actually being shown today on Sky Sports. In the USA, it's on NBCSN. In Australia, it's on Optus Sports. And in Canada, it's on Football TV. Now, on to the injuries. Tottenham, of course, are missing Richarlison today, out with his knee. Fraser Forster out with a fractured foot. Solomon out with his meniscus. And Sessegnon out with his hamstring again. Aston Villa, Buendia is missing with his knee. Mings out with his knee. Kamara's out with his knee. And Ramsey, I know, was a bit of a doubt heading into this game. I think he is out, though, which will be good for us. He's a very good player, young Jacob Ramsey. So that's everything everyone needs to know. But, guys, we're going to get straight into it because I am not happy about the kickoff time today. Usually kickoffs are at 2 and half 4 on a Sunday. But today's kickoff is at 1 p.m. And like I said, usual Sunday kickoffs are 2 and 4:30 p.m. Because the Liverpool versus Man City match has been moved to 3:30 p.m. at the request of Merseyside Police, our game has also been brought forward because this match has been picked for TV for Sky Sports. Now, the game at Villa Park has been shifted an hour earlier to ensure that they can show both clashes. Now, what I want to know of you guys is, Why couldn't they just switch the games around rather than impacting us? Why does everyone else have to fit in around the moaning, crying media darlings of Liverpool?
Well, when did this change? So
It's
I'm not going. I'm not going mad then. That it's been changed recently.
Yeah, it's been changed. Our game has specifically been brought forward an hour to accommodate Liverpool and Man City because the Merseyside police wanted to bring their game forward because there have been trouble at that game the last few years. But my point is, okay, if you want to bring it forward, move it to 2:00. Let us take the 4:30 kickoff. Why do we have to go an hour early than usual just to accommodate them, Paul?
Yeah, nah. It's wrong, isn't it? I mean, that just puts everyone out. Puts everyone out, doesn't it? I mean, they've all made, plans to go up the Villa, and they've had to rejigger them about. I mean, like I knew I could have missed the game if it weren't for you, Dave. Man, you've saved me this night. I'd have been all bright and breezy, waking up at 2 a.m. and it's like, where's the football? Oh, we've already won 5-0. Oh well, there you go.
You would have been late. Oh, that would have been hilarious. Paul waking up to do a watch along and the game's already 45 minutes in.
I started the stream and everything, and all the chat would be going, wanker.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely. So I do have my use anyway. I keep Paul in check for kickoff times, which is absolutely good. Dermo, I mean, what's your thoughts on it? I think it's absolutely disgraceful, personally.
I don't know what you two are complaining about, seriously. I really don't know what you two are complaining about. You're like 2 clicking hens to bury you. And Dave knows what that reference means. Right. It's not so... Okay, it's an inconvenient for us, but it's worse for Villa. They played Thursday evening. So they've had less time to prepare for this game. So I don't know what you two are complaining about. Fuck Liverpool. Fuck Man City. Fuck Liverpool. This is all about Tottenham. It's an advantage for us. Get over it, Dave and Paul. Just get over it. Get over it, Liverpool. Or just play them wherever. I don't know what you two are complaining about. It's an advantage for us.
You'll be the very one next week complaining about Liverpool. Your famous co-host, Philip, he's always moaning about Liverpool and stuff. What do you mean get over it? Why are we being moved forward to accommodate Liverpool? Are you okay with that? Spurs being bullied around just to accommodate Liverpool?
Around. It's the same for Villa. Villa fans, I know they're home, but they have to get up earlier and go to the game. I don't see what the problem is. Villa played Thursday. Villa were the ones complaining more than us. They're the ones that played Thursday evening away in Ajax. Then they've had to come back. They haven't had much time to prepare for this game. So, what's the problem? I look, it is what it is. Football TV, Sky TV runs the Premier League. There's nothing we can do about it. And there's no point complaining about it because we all know Sky are going to appease the darlings of the football, which is Liverpool, Man City, Man United. To forget about Tottenham. But this one actually works in our advantage because Villa have less time to prepare and less recovery time. Well, we've been training all week. So, look, for this one, I don't mind. But I do get your point. I do get your point. The Sky...
Sound like you were shoveling a ton of shit onto us there, Dermot.
Yeah, well, get used to it, Paul.
Well, Ribsy says here, Dermo, do you reckon that they've done us a favour?
I think they have, actually. In a strange way, they have, I think, in a way. Because if you look about it, Villa played Thursday. They've had the flyback from Ajax, so the flyback Friday morning. They would absolutely love a 4:30 kickoff. That would have played right into their hands because it given them a few extra hours of rest and recuperation after the Ajax game. This does Villa no favours at all. 1 o'clock kickoff after a game on Thursday. If it was us, if we're in Europe, then it would have been the same for both sides. But because we're not, and because Villa have, it's an advantage for us. So I don't know what you two are complaining about.
Personally, I don't think it is an advantage. I think regardless what time kickoff is at, a couple of hours really doesn't make a difference in terms of their fitness or their freshness. Personally, I think it's absolutely disgraceful. This is the first time all season this has happened, that one game has been moved to 1 o'clock just to accommodate someone else. I think it's absolutely shocking. I think Liverpool always get accommodated, and I'm absolutely fed up with it. And it's just another instance of Spurs being shitted on like they have in years gone by. I go back to Conte. Arsenal allowed to move games games around. Tottenham go to move game around to play in Europe, not allowed. You know, this, that, and the other. I'm absolutely sick of the treatment that Tottenham Hotspur get from everyone else. It's always us that have to accommodate other people, and I'm absolutely fed up with it. Personally, someone says that they moved the game. Where's the comment? Kevin Gonzalez, where is he? He says, the time has been moved because of daylight savings. Not true whatsoever. The Merseyside police requested that the Liverpool game went early because of crowd trouble at that fixture in years gone by, and they want to get it over and done with a bit earlier than usual. So that's why it's been moved. It's nothing to do with daylight savings at all. And if you don't believe me, I know some people choose not to believe me when I say these things. Like I said Thursday night, fact check it. Go on to Google, type it in, and it will definitely come up for you guys.
I did see that. I'll do that. Dave was speaking the fact it was changed because of the but it's like we're waiting for the ASTON game, Dave. We're going to the North London Derby, right? You, me, haven't booked flights yet. Do we know when the game on? Will Sky get the finger out their arse and actually tell us when the game is, please? Thank you.
Absolutely love it. But look, Paul, we'll start with you on this because I know you have a bit of I've seen your stuff this week and stuff, and I know you have a bit of a different opinion maybe what I would. I don't know where Dermot stands on this, but Paul, there was a lot of mixed reaction from Spurs fans across social media last week after our win against Crystal Palace. I think it was a very frustrating performance. I think we lost in attack for large periods of the game before we went on and scored 3 in the final sort of, 15, 20 minutes. Are we going into today's game full of confidence off the back of a win, or still frustrated or nervous as we still, some would argue, maybe still some way off our best?
Yeah, look, there was a couple of reasons. I enjoyed the game against Palace. One is it was a way better performance than the previous game. Way better performance. I mean, that was it. Everton we played before, was it? Or who was it we played before? We were just not very good at all. I thought we were actually pretty good the whole game. The difference between the first and the second half was the wingers were winging more. So if we can pick up from where we left off, I think we should be very, very confident. Very confident. So I wasn't disheartened at all about last week's game. I thought, we're back to being Tottenham Hotspur, by far the greatest football team the world has ever seen. I've got to just say it to Bada, Ramadan Mubarak, brother. It's coming up round the corner. Nice to see you there.
Big up, Bada. I mean, Dermot, where are you at after last week's performance? I do get what Paul's saying. A win's a win. These teams, low block teams that put every man behind the ball, they are difficult to break down and stuff like that. Where are you heading into this game? Still sort of maybe frustrated that we haven't reached optimal levels, or, confidence off the back of the win?
No, frustrated. It was one of those games where you thought, are we ever going to fucking score? And then when Palace score, you're thinking it's going to be one of those games. And then I remember Brighton. And I thought, maybe it'd be another Brighton game. And lo and behold, it was another Brighton game. Look, once we scored, we just tore them to pieces. It was getting that first goal, which we struggled with. But yeah, we cannot break down low block sides. Have them break them down.
Can. We do it all the time. How many? I keep hearing this. We can't break down.
Hang on a minute.
It's 3-1, man.
Yeah, but we struggled to get the third goal.
What do you want, 10-1? Football, you don't get scores like 10-1.
Yeah, but we struggle against low block sides. We have done since Conte.
No.
Well, I don't know what.
Right, Dermo, you state your case. Why do we struggle against low block teams? Paul, you give your counter on why you think we don't struggle against low block teams. So let's clear this up, because this is something I do hear an awful lot. So, Dermo, why do you think we struggle against low block teams?
I think that we just struggle. We don't have the mentality. We don't have the players to do it. And they struggle against it for whatever reason. I mean, Crystal Palace, no disrespect to them, we should be battering them 4 or 5-0. But no disrespect to them. No disrespect. You have to be polite about these things, Paul. But we struggle because we don't have to play the mentality to do it. We just keep playing this. If one way doesn't work, I tell you what, we keep playing that way instead of changing it up and mixing it up. But we struggled. You got games in the past, Dave, where we struggled against low block team. Going all the way back to Conte's time in charge, even Nuno's time in charge. How many times have you done a watch along with Jack I've seen you before we do ours, whatever. You have moaned and moaned and moaned and moaned. Cannot break them down. Sonny's not working hard. This player's not working hard. Richarlison's not working hard. How many times have I heard you moan? We cannot break down low block.
Oh, look, Dermot, I'll give my case in a minute, but don't use me to fight your battles. Fight your own battles.
No, I'm using you as an example. Don't start getting. God, you're in a feisty mood like me. Good, I love that.
State your case. Don't bring me into
Well,
it.
I'm stating my case.
Early, man.
I'm stating my case. I'm just saying that I've heard you complain about it as well. We cannot break down low block sides because we haven't got the mentality of the players to do it. And the Crystal Palace, we should be rocking up there 3 or 4-0 up at the first half. We're too slow, we're too predictable, and we just don't have the players to do the job. We should be tearing these teams apart instead of just, all right, if it doesn't work, we'll keep doing it the same way. Mix it up a little bit. You know, footballers, use your brains. Use your fucking common sense. If one thing doesn't work, we'll try something different. But we've always struggled until we get better playing mentality and some better players that can unlock these defenses. We'll always struggle against low block sides.
Okay, Paul. And feel free to disagree. I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
Let me give you stats, right? So 80% possession, go down 1-0, and then 3 quick second half goals to win the game 3-1. Now, that was Manchester City against Manchester United. Manchester City are fucking amazing, though. They're the best team. Oh, my God. No one says it about Liverpool the other week, scored in late injury time against Nottingham Forest. I don't hear this same thing about these other teams. They can't. They're just brilliant. We struggle against the low block team. Now, I'll take your point against Everton, where we didn't have ideas. But I thought we were fine against Crystal Palace. We wore them down. We wore them down. I don't care when the goals are scored. Ange said this in his press conference as well. It doesn't matter if it's scored in the first minute or the 9th or the 100th minute in these days games. The number of times I heard this, and we struggled low block against Luton, Sheffield United, Liverpool with 9 men, and we've won all these games. So I don't know what people want. You're not going to go out routinely and win games of football 5, 6, 7-0. It does take a while, and I think the footballers showed a bit of intelligence. I think Timo was given a few. I think Timo was good in the first half, but he just wasn't going down the line. He was always passing it back to a doggy, which was frustrating the shit out of me. But the second half a lot better. On the other wing, we got rid of Kulu, who was having a bit of a wobble. Brennan Johnson had a blinder, and all of a sudden, how many? 3-1, mate. 3-1. 3-1.
I was a bit worried, right, when you start with Liverpool and Man United, the Man United Man City game, right? I was a bit worried where you're going with that, Paul, because I did watch it and that was boring. Man City ain't going to win the league either, by the way. But we do struggle.
Everyone
Paul.
says they're brilliant.
Paul, you can't tell me you sat there and you weren't frustrated that we weren't beating Palace. Palace are below us in the league, for Christ's sake.
I'm a patient man.
I ain't patient.
As long as you win by the whistle, I don't care.
Look, I know Australians have this knack of being rarely patient. Us Irish ain't patient. We want it, and we want it now. So, we should have been beating them 4-0. It's Crystal Palace, for fuck's sake.
Dude, I don't know about that. I've got an Irish passport as well, mate. I don't know, man.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not letting you in the country.
Look, I understand sort of both sides of the argument. For me, I do think sometimes we have to be sort of like shocked into life before we sort of get going. I think that happened against Palace. I think they only really started trying things when the stoppage time board went up in the first half because they knew what was coming at halftime with Postecoglou. Then when we went 1-0 down, then they started popping shots off, putting balls into the box. In the first half, it was almost horseshoe football, side to side, 5-yard balls. And I don't think that helps us, I do think in games, especially against low block teams, we have to try a lot more to break them down. I don't think we can keep relying on a 10, 15-minute period where we bag all our goals. I think if we want to take that next step going forward, I think we have to try a lot more and be a lot more consistent throughout the 90 minutes against these low block teams. That's where I'm at with it. But
You know, man, I even hate the phrase low block. It's like one of those terms like 6, 8s, and 10s, assists, low block. Low block is just, you've decided not to play football. But like I say, where's all the headlines and press criticising Liverpool and Manchester City and saying, like, did they beat Palace 10-0? No. I think they drew with Man City 2-2, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you can't tell me it's frustrating when we go to Luton, everyone's battered them 4 or 5-0, and we rock up there and only win 1-0. You telling me that wasn't
You
frustrating?
went down to 10 men though on that one though, Darmo.
I know, but the point I'm making, before we did, wasn't it? Didn't you not find that frustrating, Paul? That everyone rocks up there and wins 4 or 5-0, and we can't even beat. We only beat them 1-0. I know we beat them with 10 men, but we cannot break down low block sides. We find it when the team comes to our place and put 10 and put the team bus there to stop it from scoring. We don't have the brains to break. It takes us forever to break these teams down. You watch the
take forever.
teams.
It takes less than 90 minutes or less than 100.
Yeah, but these lower teams we should be battering. But we're not. And it's taken us, as Dave says, like in a 15-minute spell, the second half, where the Postecoglou has a go at them at half-time for them to do anything. They shouldn't be waiting to half-time for Postecoglou to have to go in there. They should be coming out minute 1, going for it, and really are going for it and saying, right, we're going to batter these today. Not, we'll wait to half-time. We'll wait till Ange gives us a bollock, and then we'll go out in 50 minutes and score 3 goals.
Here's the other bollocks I keep hearing that, we need to go down 1-0 before we start playing. Manchester City have gone down 1-0 7 times this season and got 21 points from those games, yet no one is pointing the finger at them. It's just little old Tottenham. And I think it's part of it's the overall media, and I think maybe there's a little brainwashing going on with a couple of people here that they're just lapping it all up, and it's all to do with, I'm not saying you two think this, but the media, it's all to do with the Ange Postecoglou is naive agenda. And I think it's horseshit.
Not me.
I know not you two, but you're absorbing it all because it's in the zeitgeist, you know? And
I'm not absorbing it. I'm not absorbing it
all right.
I was straight out earlier on in the season when I knew everyone was going to go for Fulham. I backed Ange. When people were calling him naive after the Chelsea game, I backed Ange. It's exactly what Spurs fans were asking.
Oh, no, I know you're backing Ange. It's just
Yeah. Look, for me, I just think, against Brentford, same thing happened. We came out after halftime, blitzed them in a 10, 15-minute period. I can count on a number of times where that has happened this season. I take your point that Man City has come back from 1-0 down, but they're also going for their 4th, 5th title in a row. In order for us to get better, in order for us to take that next step, I don't look at it as a criticism. I look at it as putting something on the table and saying, okay, it needs to be improved on to take that next step. So next year, we can turn some of the points that we didn't get this season into points next season and hopefully achieve more under Ange Postecoglou. Look, do we have a problem breaking down low block teams? I think to a certain degree we do. And I don't put that on Ange Postecoglou. I put that on the players. He sends them out there with a game plan. They don't execute. He has to get them in at halftime. He has to give them a rollicking. All of a sudden, you see a complete change of attitude and commitment on the football pitch. The soon as they come out after halftime, they're running around. They're chasing things down with a lot more conviction. They're starting to take a bit more risks. That's not there in the first half. And I'm with Dermot on this. It does frustrate me. It really frustrates me. However, saying that, at least we're in possession for that 45 minutes. At least we're not sitting on the back foot, absorbing pressure like we have been in the last few years. But I do think, against low block teams, the players have to have more of a better attitude going into them games. I think that's what the problem is personally, is the attitude of some of the players. Like James Maddison last week, he eventually got his assist for Christian Romero. But what did he do the first half? Did he play one ball down the side? Did he play one ball over the top? Did he take one shot? He didn't. He's tasked to be our creative guy. Now, Ange Postecoglou ain't going out there to tell him to pass the ball and move it 5 yards to Timo Werner, move it 5 yards back inside. It's not what we pay his wages for. So, look, I'm sort of in between. I'm not going to go too hard on it because at the end of the day, we're getting points and we're getting over the line. But I do think there's scope for improvement.
Oh, for sure there is, no doubt. We're nowhere near our capability yet. The other thing is, I'm fed up with, the press saying Tottenham's naive and we need a plan B. Yeah, every team that's tried a plan B and tried game management against us, we've beaten. But I don't hear people on Talk Sport saying, "Oh, teams should stop doing the time wasting shit." They're telling us to do it, but they never recognise when it doesn't work for other teams.
Yeah.
Look, it's frustration. Look, I'm pleased we won the game. Over the moon, we won 3-1. And look, we've done it eventually, which is great. But it's just frustrating up to that point because you want Tottenham to come out and blitz these teams. And when they don't do it quickly, and we had it under Conte, we had it under Nuno, we even had it under Mourinho, it's one half Tottenham. How long were people calling this one half Tottenham? We didn't play the first half, or we played the first half, didn't come out the second half, or we reversed it. We should be playing at the start of the season. We were doing that for 90 minutes nearly. From start to finish, we were putting teams away. And then that sort of, with the injuries, suspensions, whatever, we haven't got back to the same levels we were at the start of the season.
But again, Dermo, is that harsh, to maybe, I'm not saying you are putting it on Ange, but is that a bit harsh to maybe, put the whole entire thing maybe on Ange and stuff like that? Because
it's not on Ange, it's on the players. They go out, once they cross that white line, it's down to them to interplay, sorry, I've said the name wrong, sorry, to Ange's plan. And he says to them, right, I want you to do this. He's not telling them go out there and fluff around for 45 minutes and not create much or waste chances. He's telling them to go out there in a certain way. That some of them players are not capable of going out and interpolating Ange's plan. It's got nothing to do with Ange. Once the players cross that white line, it's 100% on the player's responsibility. And if it's a sad way that players have to come in and get a bollocking or twist, or the plans have to be changed a little bit to suit them. And that's the bit that gets me. That's the bit I find so frustrating. So some of these players cannot follow what Ange is asking them to do. And that's what frustrates me more than anything.
I do think there were signs, maybe especially second half against Crystal Palace, that some of the stuff where we were at the first 10 games are coming back. For instance, Basuma getting on the ball, dribbling it. I mean, when was the last time we've seen him do that, instead of taking the easy option out? That's because he had to, because we were chasing the game. Maddison started expanding his passing and that a little bit more, trying things and stuff like that. I would say let's get some of that in the first half, and then hopefully I don't think it'll be as much of a frustration. Let's put frustration on it, as much of a frustration going forward. Didn't expect that one to spark into life, but it did. But we'll keep moving life. But I love it. I absolutely love it. This is what we're here. Everyone give their point of views, and stuff like that. Matthew was gifted out 5 Irish Hotspur memberships. Big up, Matthew, brother. Really do appreciate the support. And they've gone to Cantab, Just a Harmless Spud, Bob Bean Counter, Neil Hughes, and Tekken. So everybody, make sure you show your appreciation to Matthew and say a big, massive thank you. Big up, Matthew. Really appreciate the support, brother. A couple of super chats here for you guys to get your teeth stuck into as well. We've got Roosburn. and Dermo, we'll throw this one at you. It says, Dermo, Luton have lost by more than one goal once the whole season. That includes Arsenal and Liverpool, and they drew with City. Have it right.
Look, I don't know how to answer that question, to be fair.
So basically, I think you were saying, that most teams have sort of hammered Luton, and he's saying,
well, they have.
No,
they
maybe
have
it's
hammered
not the case. He's saying, they've only lost more than one goal for the whole season, and that includes against some of the biggest teams.
Yeah, well, I
think maybe the Luton game was the wrong one to suit your argument there,
yeah, I think it was. I think I picked the wrong game, but it was the only one that came into my head at the time. All right, it is only 9:45 in the morning. My brain ain't working yet. I get his point, though. I do get his point. And look, can I just say I hope Luton stays up? I rarely do, because I love Luton to stay up, by the way. Little Luton. And I used to live near Luton, and I've been to their little ground, and the fella, you walk through a house, no word of a lie, you walk through somebody's house, right, to get to one of the stands. It's the most weirdest thing getting into a ground in your life that you've ever seen. But look, my point is, we should not be struggling against these teams. We're Tottenham Hotspur. We're supposed to be the team that goes and blows teams away. I don't know, and I don't agree with Paul's point about a Man City or Liverpool. You know, it's down to us. I don't care what Man City and Liverpool do. I care what we do. I care how we play. I care how we come out and perform for the 100-minute game. How we're gonna set ourselves out to beat the teams that are in front of us. And it frustrates me that we cannot blow teams away like a Liverpool and Man City do sometimes.
So basically, I think maybe what you're alluding to is you're still waiting for maybe that breakout performance, right? To say, look, we've arrived, Ange Ball has arrived, Ange has arrived. Is that what you're waiting on?
I am waiting on that. And you look at Liverpool, they go 1-0 down to Luton, come out in second half, batter them 4-1. Man City put 5 past them in the cup, 5-1 in the cup.
That's what we did.
No, we only beat them 1-0.
I'm talking about Crystal Palace. We beat them 3-1, man.
Yeah, but the point is that we should not at home. We're playing at home. We should not be waiting to 15 minutes in the second half, waiting for Ange to give us a bollocking to do anything. We should be 3-1 up at half time and then score another 3 in the second half.
How much did we beat Newcastle by? We did them pretty well as well, didn't we?
Yeah, but we had to wait for them to go. I was at the Brighton game. Do you know, they frustrated us for a long periods of game in that game. We won the game, yeah. But we should be battering teams from minute 1 to minute 90.
So, Paul, I think what Dermot's point is that maybe it's the consistency of the performances. Now, look, when Ange had to rely on a lot of the squad, it did take a downturn. We're getting players back now. They're starting to come back from injury, that pattern, that fluidity. Maybe hopefully that's starting to come back. But would you agree with Dermo that maybe, and maybe other fans, because I've heard a lot of fans say this, that they are waiting for that sort of breakout performance. They're waiting for us to go and really sort of put a team to the test, dominate them for 90 minutes, put a couple of goals by them, create 20-odd chances.
Oh, yeah, look, I mean, I'd love it to, we get to half-time and, I could just put my feet up. We're like 3-0 up and we're on the roll. And I think before the end of the season, we are going to see an absolute demolition of another team. I mean, this is what, Celtic did a 9-0 against Dundee United. So, it will happen. I get it. But, we have had a lot of, disturbance in the team. I know other teams have had that as well. But, we should be, the main thing is I want to see us do today is to take up near enough where we left off the last game, so there's progression and people are getting comfortable. I mean, it's going to be a very different game against Aston Villa, but we'll get there. I'm happy with it so far, because I can see enough. I know, some people are saying last game was, maybe 11 minutes of brilliance or 25 or a second half or whatever, but at least there's something there, And it's not like last year when there was absolutely bugger all the time, most of the time. And I take your point about the players following instructions. Like I say, to me, I could put it down to Kulu and Werner in the first half, not going down and getting the ball into Son. So Son wasn't getting any service at all.
Sorry for him, yeah.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to fix, though. Maybe give him a bit more confidence. Especially Werner, and he got a nice goal. So. We'll see what happens this week, Do you
know what my thoughts are on it, just quickly, and we'll move on from this subject, is I think that Chelsea game would have been that performance. We were on the verge of giving them an absolute right spanking.
That's true, man.
Spanking their bodies, right? So close to doing that. And then the sending off and Doji sending off really changed the course of the game. Then you go into it, you carry a lot of injuries, suspensions. Then you've got the international competitions over the winter break. Son's gone, Papa Matsar's gone, Basuma's gone out. Then you come back, and I think now we're sort of finally getting our fully fit squad back together. I do think you will start seeing us improve towards the end of the season. For me, I've seen more than enough to be convinced by Ange. At least we're in possession. At least we're dominating possession. I would argue some of the complaints that we do have are good complaints. And the reason why I say that is last season we didn't know where to begin to sort things out. At least we know now. At least we've got a platform to build off where we can say, okay, a little couple of changes here, we're going to be absolutely devastating. But I also think people have to factor that into the analysis when they do, when they are frustrated with Tottenham Hotspur. You have to realise the disruption that this season has had. It's not like Ange Postecoglou has walked in and had one season to get his foot under the table and sort of work with everybody and stuff. There's been a hell of a lot of disruption, a massive changeover in the squad as well, players out, players in and stuff like that. I would say to people, I do think Ange Ball will be so much more better next year with a year under the table.
We lost Eric Dyer. I mean, we've done well despite that, haven't we?
Yeah, one of our main players.
And Bayern Munich are more stupid that they're going to buy him. So I don't know what. It is brilliant. I mean, Operation Get Rid of Dyer has worked a treat.
I love it. But big up, Roospur. Really, whoa. Really appreciate the support, my man. Top guy. Really, really do appreciate it. I've lost my way in the chat, guys. There was a load of people I was going to say hi to way back. So, guys, big up to all you guys coming in here. A couple more super chats. We'll dish them out, and then we'll crack on. I've got a lot more questions surrounding today's game, but big up, Roosper. Great name, by the way. And then we've got Matthew. Really appreciate the support, buddy. He says, whenever we bloody lose that Rory Jennings Chelsea fan and some fraud from Sky Sports criticize us for no reason, like, bro, other teams play worse than us. Liverpool is only winning barely. I mean, Paul, we'll let you answer this one. I mean, what would you say to Matthew on that? It does seem like the sooner Spurs, slip up in a game, it feels like the media, other football rival fans and all, they're just waiting for it. And they start to blow out proportion.
I mean, it's true that's what happens, but I don't really care. I mean, Rory Jennings is a twat. I mean, he can't lie in bed straight, that guy. He's all about deliberately controversial bullshit.
He doesn't believe his views.
Sorry?
He doesn't believe what he says. He does it for
Not at all. Him and all
Clickbait.
That cabal, they're just, it's bullshit. So, I don't. They can bag us all they want. They're, good on them. Have their moment in the sun, why not? I mean, Chelsea, they've got a lot of cheer about down at Stamford Bridge this year, haven't they? So,
apparently, Paul, the Save the Bridge campaign's up and running again.
The Chelsea pensioners out on the pitch.
Yeah, that's it.
What I will say, though, is I don't, I do think that as soon as Tottenham lose, everyone's ready to disrupt what Tottenham have got, especially if things are going well. And what I do notice happen is that a lot of our fans start listening to that stuff. These guys aren't focused on Tottenham week in, week out. They have opinion once a week or once every few weeks when we lose a game. They say something quick and witty, and then everyone jumps on it and makes it a big issue around our fan base. That I do not like. We watch the club week in, week out. We follow the club every single day from morning to night. Let's not let these antagonists or protagonists, whatever you want to call them, disrupt what we've got going on here. Too many people always have a say on Tottenham that do not follow this football club day in, day out, week in, week out. Or, basically, too many people have a say on this football club that don't support Tottenham. Every time something goes wrong, I do think there's a genuinely, in the media looking to destabilize what we've got all the time. It always happens, and I'm absolutely fed up with it. Just like you, Matthew. Really appreciate the support, sir. Big yourself up. We've got Dark Song G. Good to see you, sir. Hopefully you're keeping well. He says, I want to see Son, Mads and Johnson goal today. Come on, you Spurs. Fun fact, Maddison, most of his goal involvements have been away from home, so I'm expecting him to really turn up today. Son, he's got 5 goals at Villa Park in his last 3 visits there. I expect him to lead the way. He's carrying the burden of us wanting to finish in Champions League. And as for Johnson, we're going to get onto it later on. I don't want to start this frenzy now on who starts on the right wing. Personally, I think if he comes off the bench as an impact sub, I think he scores today. I think that's where he'd be best utilised. I'll give my reasons why in a little while. But you might get your wish, Dark Song G. Putting 3 by Villa, if they come with that high line, it certainly will happen, sir. Big yourself up. Really appreciate the support. By the way, Dark Song G, just while you're here quickly, the referees, Chris Kavanagh, Tim Robinson, let us know if there's anything we need to be wary of, Dark Song G. We've got Faz Radfar. Is it not too soon to expect blowing teams away, Dermo? Fair question.
No. Just for Tottenham Hotspur. We're the best team in the world. Of course we're gonna. Of course there's not. Tottenham. We have a thing at Tottenham is that what's the bill Nick's saying, Paul?
Which one?
if you aim high, even if you lose, do you know that one?
It's better to succeed.
Aiming
What is
high.
it? It's better to fail aiming high than succeed aiming low.
aiming
And
low.
we at Tottenham aim so high
We
that
can hear
even
the
in defeat
echoes.
there is within it an echo of glory. That's what we do. And that's what Andrew, I loved Andrew's press conference when he was asked about top four. And he says, well, we want to win. We'll see how we do, but we're not after top four. We're just...
It was like top four. It's not a trophy, isn't it? It's just
that's what Arsenal reckon.
Yeah, well, Arsenal fucking a load of wankers
Plumstead
anyway.
FC.
Yeah, South London. They should go back to Woolwich. They owe rent in North London where they are. They smell the place out. Can we please just get rid of them? Do you know they're just bodgy? They're like a cousin that you don't like. That's annoying, right? An annoying little brother that you don't want hanging around. That's what Arsenal would like. So just fuck off. But no, look, I don't think it's too soon to blow teams away. I expect us to blow every team away. I'm deluded. I'm a Tottenham fan. What do you expect, Faz Radfar? I'm a deluded
Tonight could be the night, Dermot.
Huh?
Tonight could be the night.
I have a funny feeling.
I've been disappointed so many times in my life, Paul. I'm not expecting anything anymore. If it happens, it happens. But, you know, I just think we're gonna blow anyone away. But look, what do I know?
Look, I understand it, right? You know, Spurs fans, you know, they were told when Ange come in here, Tottenham will blow teams away. You know, we'll be possession dominant, we'll create a lot of chances, and to a degree, in certain areas, that has happened. But you got to take into account the disruption we've had this season, whether you like it or not. It's absolutely not you, Dharma. I'm just speaking in general. It's absolutely crucial. You know, you have to take that in. You have to factor that in. It's, you know, we don't have the squad to cope with injuries and suspensions and stuff like that. Other managers have failed when they've had to rely on the squad, and I'm not going to start putting it on Ange Postecoglou. I think once this team sort of gets a good run back together, I think you will start blowing teams away. Faz Radfar on that one. I think we'll be a lot more consistent. Big yourself up, sir. Roos versus big up, Dermot. I just get so frustrated when people say we should be just be battering these teams like it's so easy. It's a work in progress. Do you know what, Roos Bar? I do understand what you're saying. Like, you know, the Premier League is the best league in the world. No points are absolutely given on this one. I do get it. But I do grow up from that sort of era where, you know, you look at teams that are lower down, then you're like, yeah, I should deal with them. No problem. Easy enough, you know. Look, there is a case that are the bottom teams as bad as they were when I was growing up. I'm still to try and work that one out. But I do get what he's saying, though, Dermo. You know, it is a work in progress. Are you too impatient, Dermot?
Pardon?
Are you too impatient?
Yeah. I am. I admit I am. But look, I know what Ange can do. As a Celtic fan, I've seen what Ange can do. I can see what Ange has left, what Celtic are like now. And believe me, I don't even watch Celtic now. They're that boring.
Yeah, there you go, man.
You're shocking on the Rodgers.
They are. Yeah, and
the kind of spirit's gone as well from the, you know, the crowd aren't as excited.
Yeah, it's like I said it from the very start when Ange came in. Ange has this link to Arthur Rowe and Puskas. It was Arthur. I think Puskas taught Arthur Rowe, or Arthur Rowe taught Puskas, and Puskas taught Ange. It's come full circle.
That's right.
And it's like a reincarnation of Arthur Rowe and Bill Nick. Ange Postecoglou is. That, for me, is what he is. And he will succeed. He will make us great again. He will win us trophies. We've got to be patient. Yeah, I know we do. I don't like the word patient. We've been so long not winning a trophy.
I agree.
But we do have to be patient. But compared to Conte, compared to Nuno, compared to Mourinho, even compared to Poch, I think we're playing better now than we've ever have. And I think we're going to be better than even Poch's era. And I don't think Poch was great, but for me, he was a loser because he didn't win us anything. Anyone doesn't win is a loser. And then the winners the trophy is a winner. It's all about winning. It's all about winning trophies. And Ange will win us trophies. You wait and see. Ange will be down that high road with a couple of trophies on top of a bus, and we'll all be singing his name.
What I will say to people, you know, maybe people that are maybe a bit skeptical of what we've got going on at the minute, if you're still skeptical, You look at Brendan Rodgers since he's gone in to fill Ange's boots. Ange had all the foundations laid for him. He had best players that Celtic have had in a number of years, even better players than what they had under Neil Lennon, playing the best football them Celtic fans have ever seen. Brendan Rodgers comes in, the football's a complete tail-off, but yet most people were looking at him 4 or 5 years ago as a manager that plays the modern way of football, on the front foot, exciting football. He's gone into Celtic under Ange Postecoglou with the same squad, and they're struggling completely. The football is nowhere near the same. He can sit there and blame the players and everything else all he wants. Furuhashi banged nearly 30 to nearly 40 goals under Ange Postecoglou. Celtic fans are going mad. He looks barely nowhere near the same player, stuff like that. So, it is testament to Ange Postecoglou, and I would say to people, just patience, it will come. I feel like a fraud asking for patience, like Darmo said. We've been patient long enough, but it is what it is. You're not going to get anywhere without it.
And it's funny, like before Ange came, I bet there was a few people that would have preferred to have, if it was a choice between Brendan Rodgers and Ange Postecoglou, they would have gone for Rodgers. But you can see the direct comparison, as you're saying, Dave. The magic has left Celtic. Last year they were saying Ange is the best since Jock Stein. They're not saying that about Brendan Rodgers, even if he does sneak a double, which I don't know if they will, because Rangers are right back in it now.
They're so far off it.
They are. They're
so far off
it. When Ange came in, I knew what we were getting. Even Philip knows we all knew what we were getting. And there was other fans of who's this Ange, and the likes of you, me, and Paul, and Philip. Everyone looking at us. Why are you so excited? Because we know what's coming. We knew, Paul, you were the biggest one out of the lot of us to get Ange in, to be fair. But we all knew what was coming. And he's done it in a shorter time at Tottenham, Paul. It took him longer at Celtic to get it right than it has at Tottenham. Where we are now, we're well ahead of the curve.
There's a mate of mine I went to school with, and we used to go to games together. And so we started getting season tickets in the mid-'80s. And last year, he was on the verge of giving up his season ticket. But luckily, Celtic is his second team, and he goes up to Paradise a couple of times a year. And it was when Ange was announced, that's it, it's a no-brainer, I'm renewing my season ticket. But the club had got to such a stage where people were just losing interest. I was losing interest. There's other, people, fans like Coover. It's like, rather watch a movie than that shit.
Everyone was
and come back.
Hair out.
Well, no, it's not unusual for Ange's first season to be. First season at Yokohama was crap. Brisbane Roar was pretty crap. Celtic was good, but it was the second season in all of these clubs where it was like, holy moly, here we go. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Anyway, I think we spoke about that topic today, so we are going to move on. Things, hopefully everyone's got what they needed out of that conversation. I think we've slowly pivoted Dermot back, which is absolutely great to see as the conversation went on. Dark Sung G says Blues won't get European football 2 seasons in a row, and that is going to hamper their finances absolutely. Incredibly. They were hoping to win that cup, get European football, and give themselves a bit of scope. That ain't going to happen. Looks like it ain't going to happen. And Chelsea might have to start selling off some of their assets very, very soon. You just
beautiful.
might not know. That'd be
Division
brilliant.
2, man.
There waiting. Huh?
Division 2, here they come.
Yeah. I can see
I'd love it.
Players being put in the exchange and mart and everything. Players for sale in good nick.
Big up Dark Sun Gino. And he says Kavanagh was the controversial ref for the City Liverpool ref. Kovacic plus Gooners Liverpool match, Odegaard handball, but for us 4-1 win against Newcastle. Okay, so he's disruptor of the big teams going for the titles, which we're fine with that, which is good. And referee for us 4-1 versus Newcastle. I had no complaints about the referee that day, actually. So we're in the clear on that one, Dark Sun G. Do you know what? I love this about this guy. It doesn't matter what referee it is, who's in the VAR room. You just put the names out there, and Dark Sun G comes back with the whole history. It's absolutely brilliant. Big up Dark Sun G, my man. Hopefully he's hasn't been sent in to disrupt us, in the battle for top 4 today, and hopefully he's pro Tottenham. That'd be nice to see, Dark Sunji. Big yourself up and really appreciate it, my man. And we've got Ribsy85 member for 31 months. Really appreciate the service from your neck of the woods. Paul says, same fans who said Ange wasn't good enough are the same ones complaining about the dip in form. Skipped right over admitting Ange was kicking ass. Paul, I mean, you can have your say on this one.
Yeah, I think there's a few that are just, they're more interested in us failing, because then they're right about Levy and all that sort of stuff, I don't really care what they say. I don't really care. I think, I mean, not that I tell fans what they can and can't say or anything like that, but I can see there's people out there champing at the bit. They're just waiting for us to fail, and they jump on everything. Like, you remember the whole flash in the pan a few games ago? Oh, Vicario can't deal with corners. Well, that, we fixed that, haven't we? So what's next? What's next?
Well, there you are, Ibsy. Big yourself up, my man, and really appreciate the support. Look, what I will say is, those who are skeptics at the start, if they're still skeptics, I can understand, it's their opinion from the very start. Me personally, I'm going to give the project patience. I'm going to give it into next season, no problem at all. I really like Ange Postecoglou. I really like what he done with Celtic, and I think he will, get to that point with Tottenham Hotspur as well. Big up, Ribsy. Really appreciate the support. And then last one from Dark Song G. He says, under Robinson, we won 1, lost 2. For your information, all 3 games were away. Bournemouth win, Wolves away, 2 losses. Look at us compared to Bayern, Blues, Man United, better football. I completely agree. You look at Man United, they're searching for a manager to play this sort of football. Chelsea brought in Pochettino to play this sort of football, the possession-dominated football. I do agree with you that we've took maybe a jump over them 2 clubs at this moment in time, Dark Sung G. And hopefully, going into the summer, we can add more signings to it instead of pulling back on the project, add more to it, and hopefully that'll go into next season. Because if we don't, and them teams do come back and overtake us, I'll be absolutely livid again. I won't put it on Ange Postecoglou. I'll put the blame where I think it needs to go, whether it's the transfer committee, higher up the food chain, because, I'm sick of, managers not getting back completely to what they need. And Ange Postecoglou, he needs to get rid of some of them squad players that just can't play his system. They need to be shipped out with more coming in, because if that doesn't happen, we carry injuries next season. He has to rely on some of these guys that we've already got proof this season, last season under other managers, seasons before that aren't good enough. I ain't putting that on Ange Postecoglou. So, but look, there's a real opportunity for a start, Sunji. With these teams out the equation, that's 2 less fighting for the title next season. So it's up to us to capitalise on it, Dark Sung G. Absolutely great point. Look, hopefully Robinson does well for us today. If not, I'll turn him into some Robinson's juice, my man. Big yourself up, Dark Sung G.
And because Ange has been sticking to his guns, like when we're watching a game of football, we can see clearly what players are not up to it, because Ange isn't going to say, okay, I'm playing Ben Davies and Emerson Royale. Don't bother trying to be all inverted. Just play like normal. He doesn't do that. He says, no, you bloody well play the way I'm saying. And you can see that they're not up to it. So, there's no hiding under Ange. And a couple of teams mentioned there, Manchester United and Chelsea, their fans are watching their teams and they can't do the same because they don't know what the football is supposed to be. Ten Hag says he hasn't got the players to play the Ajax way. Well, I mean, you're fucked. If that's your opinion, you've got no hope.
Poor old Poch is not feeling loved by the Chelsea fans. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't feel loved by the Chelsea fans. No, I don't give a shit. You can't play. You're not managed. You're a loser, and you're playing the shit football team. So there you go.
With that from Pochettino, he knew that taking the job, but the contract was too big for him to turn up. So I mean, I'm just not going to listen to that from him. He knew going in there what was going to happen. Brains McLeod says, Ange Shandon in his presser that he really wants a few players out. Who do we think they are? I mean, look, all you got to look at is the first 11 and players that got injuries and suspensions. Look at some of the guys that came in after. Now, look, I get it, right? And I partake in myself where we argue over keeping one shit player over another, right? I get brawled into it myself. The reality is, if you can't play this system, get gone. I'm getting old. I'm getting grey hairs, I don't have my youthful black hair anymore, It's starting to get grey and stuff like that. And I'm running out. Time is running out for me to go and win trophies and stuff like that. I don't want to be sitting here at 60, 70 getting pissed off and stuff like that. At the end of the day, all you got to do is look at when the dipping performances came in, look at the consistencies. Skip. As much as I like Højbjerg, and I think he's done well at other times this season, when he starts games, it's just, he gets pressured. Højbjerg is better as an impact sub when he's got more space and time on the ball. But you're not going to get that all season long, and you are going to have someone else to come in and start. So on that basis, unfortunately, as much as I like the guy, I think you're going to have to ship him on. I mean, Ben Davies I've been on about for 4 or 5 years now. How the fuck is he still at this football club? What does he do? Can anyone tell me? He's supposed to be a left back. He can't play left back. He's supposed to be a centre back. Can't play there either. What is he still doing here on 85 grand a week? It's absolutely sickening. We've done good work in getting the likes of Larice, Dyer, and all them other ones gone. But we've still got more there that need to go, and it's that simple for me. You got to have players that are mobile, that can do pass and move, one-touch football, not players that need 10 touches and need to scout around the football pitch. Look, personally, I just think it's pretty obvious, Brains. That's my opinion on it, my man. But there's some of the names I've given you anyway. You drew me out with names on that one there, Brains McLeod. Big yourself up.
I just want to say something on that, Dave.
Yeah,
Compared to me and Paul, you're a fucking young pup. You want to think about me and Paul, right? When me and Paul are heading towards our pension age, right? You're only a young pup. You're only a young'un. You've got years and years ahead of you. You've got no grey hairs. Think about me and Paul. Think of your elders. Doesn't think of us, Paul. When they're our pension age, time's running out for us. Need's going to be around when we're gone. So, you're a young pup, Dave.
I don't feel it. Spurs are aging me. I mean, the last 3 to 4 years definitely aged me there, I would say, on that one. But, guys, we do travel up to Villa Park today. Villa are 5 points ahead of us. If Villa win today, they go 8 points clear. If we win, we close it to 2 points with a game in hand. If Spurs lose, guys, I'm going to start with you on this one, Dermo. Are the top 4 hopes over for you personally? Is today a must-win or a must-not-lose game for you?
Today is a must-win game. It's a 6-pointer today. We have to go out there and win. Look, if we lose today, I will always believe in top 4 until it's mathematically impossible for us to get top 4. But if we lose today, it's going to put a massive dent in that hope. But we have to win today. With a game in hand, I said it in my pre-match prediction, we have to make that count. We have to make it work in our favour. And it's so, so important we go up there and get the 3 points today. Because it gives us a morale boost, 2 wins in a row. B, it makes Villa sit up and think, shit, they're only 2 points behind us with a game in hand. And with them being in Europe, they could go on the wobble. And C, I think it gives us something to fight for. Even if we get Europa League, it's still a good season. Even get Champions League, it's a good season. But it's so important we get the win today. For anything else, it's important that we can go up there and play under pressure and win under pressure. That's the important thing today, to prove that we can do it. So, yeah, it is. It is so, so important.
No, look, I completely agree with you. For me, I think it is sort of season defining in that regard. Just quickly, John Fitzpatrick, famous last words. You know what's going to happen now. We're going to put 3 or 4 by them at Villa Park. What I would say to you is it did happen a few years ago when Sonny banged in a hat-trick and that, we put a good few goals by them. So I wouldn't exactly say they don't know football. But I do understand what you're saying. I do get the point you're making. But Paul, where are you at heading into today's game? Is it?
Yeah, look. Well, I'm going.
Finding as many are building it up to be.
I'll be going 5 or 6-0. So I'm not in that 3 or 4-0.
You don't know ball.
Look,
Jesus, I thought I was deluded.
It's an important game. You want to win, but the thing is, before the end of the season, and the games are starting to run out now, we're playing Liverpool, Man City, and Arsenal. But so are Aston Villa. They're playing those 3 teams as well. So I think it still could come down to who does better against those teams. And I think we will do better than Villa against those teams because we have already. We have already. We've given as good as we've got. So I'm not. Look, Yeah, a win makes it harder, but I don't think it rules it out. But like, and really, like, as long as we're sticking to our identity, then the cards fall where they fall. And I think this is a positive thing, actually, because I think it's been a criticism of Tottenham, and I think it's justified that we only care about top four. And I think Ange is clearly showing that he doesn't give a shit about top four, because otherwise probably we would have parked the bus here and there and maybe snuck an extra point or three here and there. We're not doing that. We're going to win, lose, or draw our way. And the more we stick to our guns, the more the results are going to come our way, more so than Aston Villa.
Let me ask you just quickly, Paul. You brought up Ange Postecoglou, sort of batting away top four, and he's done that a couple of times. You're absolutely spot on there. Does he believe it in what he's saying, or is he just trying to maybe alleviate the pressure that maybe the media were trying to put around the game and hype it up?
No, I believe it, man, because he's all the evidence doesn't. I mean, okay, he's been saying those things, but all the evidence points that way as well. That we've had the intention, whether it's come off or not, especially when we had to rely on certain players because other players were injured that can't do it. But the intent has been to play football a certain way, and when you're learning how to do it, it's hard. It's hard. It's high risk football. But if Ange cared about top four that much, I think we would have seen something different. But Ange isn't cut that way, So he's building something long term. He's not sacrificing match minutes and practice now, because if you play the last 20 minutes of the game parking the bus, there's 20 minutes practice. You've got to add that onto another game somewhere else, So we're taking a bit of pain, but the game long term will be much better.
I also think if you start parking the bus and stuff like that, it gives players license to do what they want throughout the game and sort of ignore your instructions and stuff like that. At least if you've got one way of playing, one clear instruction, people from the outset and from the outside can straight away see where the blame lies. You just got to look. Are they doing, what Ange Postecoglou is asking them to do? Are they executing it? For instance, first 10 games, we pressed the life out of teams. We turned the ball higher up over the pitch, went and scored some goals. When we carried injuries and all, that's completely dropped off. That's completely stopped. It's only recently we're starting to get back to it. No one could tell me that Ange Postecoglou asked them players to stop pressing the opposition. It's not him. It's players that are taking some of these on themselves. And I think that's where it's gone wrong in years gone by with Conte, Mourinho and stuff like that. It's because, they'd have different tactics for different games and, different plans for different games and it was always to stifle the opposition. But then you also heard them at the end of matches in press conferences so saying, I didn't ask my team to sit that deep. But when you do give them, license within what you're telling them to do, it allows them to just do what they want to do, stuff like that. And we're not seeing that problem under Ange Postecoglou. We're not seeing players, doing what they want to do. They are trying to, execute what he's asking them to do. And also, he has to drill that into them this season so that we can go into next season absolutely flying, Look, I'm fully behind it. I have no problem with it at all. The plan B talk, I do understand where people are coming from, but when we had managers like that in the past, people didn't like it, So I don't get why all of a sudden we're asking when we were ready to sack Conte, everyone was like, I want a manager that worries about Tottenham, that plays on the front foot football, that goes to win games. And then we get that. And then all of a sudden people are asking for plan B and to reverse it again. I don't understand it personally. But look, Dark Son G says, come on, you Spurs. At least when we lose in the Premier League or draw, we score. Unlike before, when we lose without scoring at 0-0 draw. Or Dark Son G, we're going in at half-time, 3-0 down, and then coming out in the second half trying to get back into the game. Submarines back up, left back, left sided centre back, a Cam, and one CDM, one forward out. Roden, by the way, he's been superb at Leeds. Probably get a good fee for him. Ben Davies, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Sessegnon, Tanguy, Spence, Reggie, and Gill.
And Lo Celso can fuck off as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the problem is with Lo Celso, he's never fit. Maddison was out injured. You're thinking, okay, Lo Celso, you step in there. He was fit for what, 2 games? I mean, the guy's just got to go, in my opinion. I completely agree with that. But Dak Sung Ji, my man, I mean, look, I think we're on a run of 38 games now, with scoring in every single game. Now, that obviously stretches back to March last year. It's not entirely all under Ange Postecoglou, but the score, we are scoring goals, but are we scoring enough or keeping enough clean sheets? That's where I would maybe question it, but there are things that you've got to work on and improve on. Look, as for the players in, I don't disagree. Left back, we need someone else to cover Destiny Adoji. I am not watching Ben Davies come in next season and watch such a drop-off, and then people try and justify it to me. I'm absolutely fed up with it. Left-sided centre-back, look, I'm not sure. Let's wait and see what Tottenham do in that department. I know there's still links to centre-backs out there, but I'm telling you now, Phillips is absolutely ripping up at Plymouth. He's been absolutely phenomenal. You can't believe how good he's been. Dorrington's coming through and stuff like that. We've got Dragus in. Let's see if centre-back happens or not. And then in terms of midfield, I definitely think we need one more midfielder for sure. Me personally, I know there's a lot of debate going around. Some would prefer to get wingers in here. Some would prefer a striker. Me personally, I would prefer a striker, to be brutally honest, to come in the door, and compete with Richarlison. But that's where I'm at with it, Dark Sung G. Big yourself up, though, my man. Really do appreciate the support.
So some of these players are really pissing me off because they have held us back through 2 windows, Yeah, it was blatantly obvious. Højbjerg, Skip, Dyer, not in the plans, but I'm going to stay and fight for my place. And so, well, while they're on you, but you can't just bring another player in. You've got to get rid of these
on 75 grand a week and didn't deserve
it. Yeah, I'm fed up with them. I just want them gone, And I mean, looking back, I think it was a really smart move that we got rid of Davison Sanchez at the last minute. Okay, yeah, we might have needed a centre back, but it freed up. So come this window, we didn't have to dick around. We could get Dragus in. Now, if Højbjerg, Skip, the Chelsea all sodded off, then we might have had a chance of bringing in new players. Who knows, But I want them gone in the summer. I'm sick of them. Like you say, Dave, you can bring them on maybe, towards the end of a game when everyone else is knackered and they might do all right. But starting regularly, which you need when people get injured and suspended, they can't. Now, isn't it? You can't rely on them. You can't.
Take Højbjerg out of your mouth, Paul.
I'm fed up with him.
I'm a big defender of Højbjerg. I'm a huge defender of Højbjerg.
I just say, Paul, I think you're wrong on Højbjerg. He comes in, he does a job for you.
But what happens when you need him to start? He's shit.
He's not. I'm sorry, I disagree with you completely.
Do you not think he's had much better impact off the bench this season than when he started games? Off the bench is where he's got most of his praise this season.
Off the bench he has, but he is dependable. When you need him at the start, he will do a job for you. The rest of them, I agree with you. Roden will get a good for him. You're right, Dave. He's playing brilliant at Leeds. Davis needs to go. Session really needs to go. Don Bele, just cancel his contract and just send him to a local kebab house. Spence, just leave him where he is. Reggie, you take whatever you get from Brentford, and I feel sorry for Hill. Conte killed Hill at Tottenham, so I wish him all the very best of luck. But look, Højbjerg, he's my man. I've been his biggest supporter, and I continue to be his biggest supporter, Paul. I think David's right. He's been brilliant when he's come off the bench. When he has started, okay, he hasn't been outstanding, but he's always done the job. Look at that. I always go back to the Chelsea game when he hit that ball off the line. His reaction, that wasn't just because of what he'd done. It's because of the passion he shows for the team, the passion he shows for the club. He is a modern professional. He hasn't rocked the boat. He hasn't done anything. He's kept his head. All right, I know he's kept his head down. He's come in, he's trained, and he's done well. But I know, Paul, you're not a big Højbjerg fan. So,
no, he's part of the old leadership group. Him and Skip. And, I get what you're saying, he has moments. But generally, the play completely breaks down when those Muppets are on the pitch because the ball comes out of defence. Højbjerg and Skip, they can't take the ball on the half turn. The ball just goes straight back to defence.
Yeah, but Paul, we were praising Højbjerg last season when he was playing with Bentancur. When he wasn't playing with Skip. He plays better with better play. But look, that's beside the point. But I just think he's been more dependable than the rest of them. That's what I'm saying.
Look, I'm a big defender of Højbjerg. I don't think he's as bad as many of the Spurs fans make him out to be. And I thought it was the right decision to keep him around this season. However, when you look at the games this season, he's come off the bench when he's had a lot of space and time on the ball. That guy will play passes all over the pitch. He's been brilliant. When he starts games, he just can't get into it the way he does coming off the bench because he doesn't have that much time and space on the ball. Other teams have fresh legs. They can get at him. They can pick the pocket, and he has to almost do things a lot quicker. Højbjerg is a player that does need a bit more time on the ball than some of the other current options we've got. And when I look at Ange Postecoglou, I don't think he wants that. I think he wants players that can come in and do 1-2s, pass and moves and stuff like that. And I do think Højbjerg himself wants out of here in the summer. I think that's why he signed on with the new agency. I think he's going to get his move out to Italy, and I think that'll be him. I think he's been a great servant. But anyway, look, I'm not going to sit here and argue about Højbjerg today because he's probably going to see about 3 minutes off the bench. But big up Dark Song G, my man. Really appreciate the support, brother. Guys, I did have a load of other questions, but I'm going to skip on a few, and I'm going to get to this one. Paul, there is a lot of talk about retribution on Matty Cash today because of his challenge on Bentancur and Doherty a few years back. Here's what Ange had to say on the matter. The type of things, they're the type of things where you hope that as you mature and develop as a team, they become less and less important or a focus. When you're clutching at those kind of things, you're losing sense of what's important. What's important for us is to be at our best against a very good football team and try to get a result. How important is it that we don't get involved in Phil's sort of shenanigans and let our heads sort of go in such a season-defining game? And the reason why I say that is because it's been a clear game plan by Villa over the last few years to rough Tottenham up. You know, that Matty Cash challenge, that came when they were under Steven Gerrard, and they kicked the shite out of us for 45 minutes, and the referee allowed them to do it. The Bentancur one again, they got physical with us. I mean, Postecoglou is right, though. As much as we want to see Romero go and, you know, rip Matty Cash's little shitty baronet off his head, kiss the badge and walk off the pitch while taking a red card just to get retribution, now's not the time, right, to get embroiled in these. Like Ange says, the true test of the maturity of the team is if they can overcome this with 3 points and not get embroiled in it.
Yeah, I know what Ange is saying, but, you know, I would still get some personal satisfaction if Matt Cash was taken off the scripture and didn't play for the rest of the season. But you're right, I mean, Villa was so physical with us when we played them last, weren't they? You know, they really roughed us up. And I think part of taking them on is to, you know, stand up to that. And how do you stand up to it? I mean, I'll just go back to Steve Perryman in the 1981 FA Cup final when Jerry Gow was having a right go at our players, especially Aussie Ardealers. And Steve Perryman, you know, he made the decision as our captain to stick one on him. And that was it. He was out. He wasn't off the pitch, but he was subdued. So I think when you've got someone like Matt Cash, who got a yellow card during the week against Ajax, if he starts playing silly bollocks, I think we've got to send him a little message, and I will love it.
No, look, I'd absolutely love it too. I mean, you know me, Paul. You know, I loved it when Basuma went and done your man at Forest that time because of all the challenges he was getting away with. But you know what? Earlier on in the season, I think it's okay. You know, you've got time to recover from it. I just don't think now we do have that time to recover from it. So that's why I'm sort of intending to go with Ange Postecoglou on this one, although, you know, I wouldn't stiff my nose up at Matty Cash, you know, getting one. Dermo, where are you at with it today?
Look, it is what it is. You look at Villa, they've roughed us off a few times. Doherty a couple of seasons back. We just got fire. And Romero be sorting out Cash today. He'd be looking out for him. You know, 10 minutes, 5 minutes to go, 4-0 up. Right, where's that fucker? I'm gonna go and get him now. Go and kick him up the arse. But look, I think we just sometimes got fight. But Villa have always roughed us up. And referees don't do anything. So how many times this season have we been roughed up and the referees have done nothing? And we've only touched their opposition player and referees given free kicks and yellow cards. So Romero wasn't sending off versus Chelsea. The two Chelsea sending offs were not sending offs. Both of them were yellow cards. And you go to the following week, a Liverpool player does exactly the same tackle as Romero and he gets a yellow card. So what's the difference? And I tell you, the biggest contributor to that is VAR. Because referees are too scared to make a decision. The person that's making it's behind the screen. He can't be yelled out. He can't be shouted at. So he's like, "Oh, go on, ref, just send them off." I'm sitting there, just you know, it's ridiculous. But look, it is what it is. It's football.
Yeah, look, I do hope the referees are clued into what Villa have done to us last few days and last few sort of times we've played them, and they don't allow it to happen. Because my thing is, I just want fairness, right? And I see this time and time again. People call me crazy, but go back and watch some of the games. You watch Edozie when he's marauding with the ball forward in the first half. He's getting dragged out, swinged out of. They're almost jumping on his back and he's running with them. Nothing given, nothing. Play on. Edozie then goes to get the ball back, hits them a jostle. No, too aggressive, yellow card. Seriously,
Crazy.
I'm absolutely fed up with it. I think they have something against Edozie. It happens. It's been happening all season long, and it's pissing me off. That's why I've got my own referee kit here, and I'm going to learn to become a referee. So you might see me in the Premier League in a few
I've
years.
been looking into the same thing there, Dave. I was just looking it up yesterday, but I was thinking maybe doing a bit of referee. Look at that. Yeah, that's it. Where's the blue card?
Oh, I'll have to get a new one when that comes out, Paul. It's a joke, the blue card shit. It's an absolute joke. I mean, if referees just got to grips with the game and manage the game the way they're supposed to and take control of the game the way they're supposed to, you don't need a blue card, do you? It's absolutely shocking. Dark Zone G says it's time for revenge for us to beat Villa. 3-game losing streak plus Fulham away, beating us in the cup in pens this season. Hopefully we can go on a streak. Dark Zone G, I would like to go on a streak before we hit that Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Newcastle, West Ham period. We've got Villa today, we've got Fulham next, then Luton coming up. Ideally, I'd like to take 9 points from them next 3 games heading into that tough sort of April fixture schedule. It would be ideal to go on a nice little streak now and close that gap on Villa. But I'd also argue I'd like a little buffer heading into them big games. Don't get me wrong, Villa still have the likes of City to play, still got Arsenal to play and stuff like that. They've still got big games too. But I do think we need to take advantage of these next 3 to 4 fixtures we've got coming up before the big games. Because I know, look, I'm not scared going into the big games because you look at it, bet Liverpool took a point against Arsenal away at the Emirates. Okay, we've lost to Man City this season, but we've also took points off them when we had a half-depleted team. We've done well against the big dogs so far this season, but I think where the difference comes in with this run of fixtures is it's back-to-back to back-to-back. It's mentally and physically draining, whereas if you're playing them every couple of weeks, you've got time to gear yourself up for it, and I think that's where the difference might come in, and we might not be as good as we were against them when they were sort of sprawled out a little bit. But big up, Dark Zone G. Faz Radfar 3-1 Spurs says Paul is right. You cannot blow teams away with Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. There you are. So that's his thoughts on it. Big up, Faz Radfar.
Not my words. Independent bystander. Faz Radfar 3-1 Spurs.
Big up, Faz Radfar. Really appreciate the support, my man. Look, I do understand where Dermo's coming from. I do understand it, but I think next season, I think he's gone out of the club anyway. So I'm not even going to sit here.
I think he's gone too. I think he's gone too, but I think he gets too much. Stick. I think he does do a job for it, and that Levy with a bevy, same what he says. Set up your own YouTube channel, and then you can start speaking instead of sit behind the keyboard and thinking you're the man. Do what we all do. Set up your own YouTube channel and speak. That's how we do it. That's how it rolls.
I'll have a look back in a minute and see what was said. I'll have a look.
No, that's all right, Dave. That's all right. You know me now. I'm no backwards and coming forwards now.
Dermo's just fighting back. He's clapping back today. He got out of bed the wrong side. He's not a morning person. Love it, Dermo. Love it. But guys, let's keep it moving. Where am I? I've got a Romero question here that I probably don't have time to get to, but I don't want to skip over it either. Because he did get a lot of criticism earlier on in the season. There was a lot of talk about him. Now, like I said, there was a lot of talk about Romero after the Chelsea game. Romero being a liability. Now, stats for everyone out there. I know Paul doesn't like stats, but you might like these ones.
No, I think I'm going to like these ones, Dave.
This time last year, Romero had received 2 red cards and 9 yellow cards. This season, Romero's only received 1 red card and 4 yellow cards. And his fouls per game have reduced from 1.6 to 0.7. Paul has the extra responsibility that Andrew's given, Romero by making him vice captain. Made Romero more of a composed player. Not so much of a liability anymore, is he?
Well, I've never been of the opinion he's uncomposed. I think he was maybe a little bit unfortunate last year. I don't see when he's got this reputation. People say he's a hothead and he's reckless, and I only saw that a couple of times last season because we were so crap that he just got completely frustrated. Whereas this year we're playing better. I see him as more measured. He's Matty Cash. Matty Cash is a reckless player. Jota for Liverpool, reckless. Romero's not put anyone in hospital, ended anyone's career, anything remotely near that. I'm always a big fan and backer of Romero, and I think he gets a lot of unfair stick, and I'm not exactly sure why, because he's a good player.
No, I agree with you. I think he's absolutely fantastic. And to be honest with you, I don't mind him losing his head once in a while and going after someone and assassinating them. Look, I was there for the West Ham game. I seen what he done to Mikel Antonio. This was a few years back. Mikel Antonio, first touch of the ball, Romero came straight through him, clattered him. And I literally watched Mikel Antonio go over the opposite side of the pitch to not give some of the West Ham players an out ball because he didn't want to get smashed by Romero again. So I know people don't like it at times, but it does have its purpose, Paul, right?
Erling Haaland last
St.
year.
Maximin against Newcastle came off very quickly when he done it to him last year.
Yeah. So he touched up Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland retreats back into midfield where he can't play very well. So, like I say, it's measured. Also, giving Hugo an elbow in the guts during the World Cup final. It's not being reckless. It's done with purpose.
And to Boone Sang Lee's point here, Romero's no liability once you watch Vinnie Jones around.
Yeah, fucking hell, man. Jesus. Duncan Ferguson,
Yeah, big dunk. Famous for being a shit house. Brilliant. But Dermo, Mickey Van de Ven and Ange have both said that Romero is one of the most competitive players that they've ever come across and that he doesn't fear anyone. Is Romero's fearlessness a strength that people don't really recognize or give enough credit to, like me and Paul are probably alluding to here?
Yeah, it is his strength. Romero, for me, is fantastic. He's a world-class defender. He's probably one of the best centre-backs in the world right now. I don't think there's anyone better than Romero at the moment. And him and Van de Ven are going to have a strong, reliable partnership. How long have we been asking for a Jan and Toby? We've now got a Jan and Toby. We've now got, and with Pelro and Destiny, we've now got the back four we had on the potch. Walker, Van, Toby, Danny Rose. We've now got that back four plus Vicario. But one thing I think has helped is I said at the start of the season, I said, give Romero the captaincy, because I'm young enough, I'm old enough to remember Maradona, and Maradona was a little shithead. He was a little, and Paul can remember this as well. He was a fucking fiery fucker. He'd start a fight he'd probably start a fight in heaven if he got there himself, or start a fight in a phone box. The Argentinian manager gave him the captaincy. It turned down his aggression, but it made him focus his aggression into his talent. And that's what the vice captaincy's done with Romero. It's made them focus. And I think he's been very harshly sent off this season. And I think some of the tackles, they've been brilliant. We've loved them. But I think his reputation sort of precedes him, I think, a little bit. But no, I don't want Romero to change. I love the way he is. I love how he defends. And players don't like it. Players do not like coming up against them, and long may it continue. He's our Dave Mackay, he's our Graham Roberts, he's our Paul Miller. He's everything that a defender should be. So fair play to him, and I think he's absolutely a world class. He is probably the best centre back in the world right now, in my opinion.
I mean, there's been players throughout football with way worse disciplinary records that were never called liabilities. I'm thinking of Tottenham's own Graham Souness, who started with us as a schoolboy, Stuart Pearce.
You used to call him Psycho.
Sorry?
Yeah.
You used to call him Psycho.
Yeah.
You can go back to Brian Robson as well, and Man United, Roy Keane.
Yeah, I think
Cantona.
Cantona as well. Yeah. He just stamped on people and kicked fans in and just jumped in the stands. But we just leave that to one side.
But the problem we've had at Spurs is if Romero in the past, if Romero got sent off or suspended, who comes on? Tanganga, Sanchez, Dyer, Davies. But now we've got someone that can fill in for him. So I want to go 4-0 up, half time. We come out the second half. Romero just goes up and decks Matty Cash, knocks his teeth out, gets sent off, and we see Dragusin playing next week. No big deal.
Why do I have shades of Cucurella's hair being pulled? Why do I think Romero's going to attempt to do something like that today with Matty Cash just sort of yank him by the hair or something like that? But I do agree with what you're saying there, Paul. I do, and I think I remember saying something like similar to that around back at the time as well. That's where I think the discussions were popping up about Romero being rash, is because the backup were absolutely crap. It was absolutely shocking. Whereas this season, Emerson has filled in okay. Dragusin, we haven't seen too much of him. We've barely seen him, but we've got better backups than what we have in the past. So I don't think there'll be as much of a drop off back there. I think you're spot on. 24C says Romero being rash is just a preconception this season. He barely does reckless stuff recently.
Yeah.
And still call him crap, etc. It's madness. It's absolutely madness. 24.
Don't get it.
Big up Lily White Lane as well. Good to see you in the building. We take this from Dark Sun G, and then we're going to kick on and talk a little bit about maybe some of the team news and stuff like that. Dark Sun G says, if Bergvall surprises Ange in preseason, goodbye Skip, Pierman, Højbjerg, Giovanni Lascelles. So then we fight with Bentancur, Sarr, Basuma, which is beneficial for us. Ange is a goal for taking destroy damaged Spurs to fighting for top four. I couldn't disagree with that more, I agree with that more, my man. Sorry, not disagree. I completely agree with you. What I'm delighted with, Ange, he doesn't suffer fools. He walks straight in. He could have done the same as every other manager. Reece, stay as captain. Dyer, you're my centre back. This, that, and the other. He didn't do it. He smelt rats. Straight away solve the problem. Get out. Even when Dyer tried to hang on, thinking he was going to outlast Ange, like he's tried to do in previous managers and stuff like that, it didn't happen. Ange does not suffer fools. He identified the problem straight away. He must have been listening to me. I said last season, when you've got managers being chopped and changed the way they are, the problem is your dressing room and leadership group within that. Ange came in and absolutely decimated it completely. And for that, I give him the utmost respect. I said a few years ago to Jack, before we started getting Paratici in here and some of the signings and that I hated that Tottenham squad. And I didn't want to say that, but I hated it. I absolutely despised it. You had weak player after weak player, Winks, Dyer, and, the likes, They're all gone now. I don't have to sit here and have arguments about shit players anymore. It's absolutely brilliant. And I love Ange Postecoglou for that. Even if it doesn't work out for the guy, I'll always be indebted to him for that. Always. As for the midfield next season, look, Bergvall is one step in the right direction. It's going to be a big ask for him just to make the jump up from the Swedish League to the Premier League, just like that. However, the boy's got talent. It's clear to see, and I do think the club will look to work with that. Plus, you're playing in all 4 competitions next season, a lot more games, which means a lot more minutes to distribute. So, you pick and choose these games. You give him game time. I'd also say Tyrese Hall. I pointed him out last year in the Under-18 Cup final. I remember saying that guy's work ethic will serve him very, very well. He's made the step up from the Under-18s to the Under-21s this season. He's been absolutely unbelievable. One common theme from what I like about Tyrese Hall, and I do think he'll probably make his way up into that or get a couple of appearances next season, is he's like Papa Sarr, industrious, gets around, turns over the ball. But when he's turned over the ball from the Under-18s this season, he's buried it into the bottom corner most times. Made the other step up to the Under-21s the other night. Best midfielder on the pitch, picking up the ball, spraying it around, composed. Trust me, we've got some very, he'll probably come true, Tyrese Hall. So, we've got some good young guns chasing down the experienced pros, and hopefully that'll keep everybody on their toes, because I think that's been one of Tottenham's biggest problems in years gone by. They didn't want to give any youngsters any chance to come through, snapping at the senior pros' heels, and that's why they're allowed to take the foot off the gas, blame everyone else. People were even blaming me for some of their performances. I mean, that's how bad it was getting. Dave, you're so mean to these guys, they can't perform. I'm like, well, fuck me. If they're believing if they're tuning in and listening to what I have to say and I'm affecting their performance, then we've got bigger problems than what I even first imagined. Absolutely shocking. I couldn't believe some of the shit and some of the blame I was taking for some of them Muppets, Dark Sun G. I'm just glad that most of it's gone now. A few more to follow, and then I can sit here and sing Kumbaya. So big up, Dark Sun G. Anyone else want to have a quick say on this, guys?
So we were blaming the wrong people. We should have been blaming you then, Dave. Was that what you're trying to say?
No.
Sack Dave.
I was getting the blame.
Dave out.
Dave out. Hashtag Dave out. No, but but Dark Sun G is spot on again with another super.
He's on fire
brilliant.
Today.
He is on fire today. He must have. But look, you are right. Ange came in and he said, right, you, fuck off. I don't want you in my... He dismantled the leaders group as well, got that dealt with. And that's one thing with Ange. He always says you could be the greatest player in the world, but if your attitude's not right, he's not going to buy you. I'd rather buy a player with a better attitude that's not, tactically brilliant than a player that's the world-class player with a bad attitude. I'm not having you in my squad. And that's why he's coming. You're gone, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. You're not part of it. And he's had to use some of them this season. And when he did give him a chance, say, right, I'm going to give you a chance against Fulham. Prove me wrong. They just proved him right. So he said, well, there you go. You're not good enough for us. You're gone. And I respect Ange for that. I respect Ange for what he's done. I respect him for what he's doing at our club.
But and he's done that at previous clubs. He clears them out. He's done it with even fan favourites over at Brisbane Roar and Melbourne City. He doesn't, if they're not up, if he doesn't feel that they can be coached to his way and get fully on board, they're out. And like with you, Dave, I was so. As soon as you can see, as soon as the pre-season friendly started, that Dyer was not, for the first time that slimy little twat hadn't wormed his way into a manager's affections.
Because he couldn't speak Australian, that's why.
Couldn't speak Australian. Yeah, that's true, man. He speaks English with a German accent now, bless him. No, so
I bet you Ange walked in and the first thing Dyer said was "G'day, mate," and he just like, "You gone, get out." Get out, I tried to don't brown nose me like that, Dyer. Get out.
He sat there with a little kangaroo and he had the Barbie. He had the Barbie going, in the corner of the changing room, and he had the Australian hat on, and he's there welcoming, man. And she looked at him and
Dyer came in dressed as Skippy the kangaroo, and Postecoglou was like, "Come here, come on, Dyer, get out. You're disgraceful, disgraceful." But
I'll bring Skippy with you as well.
Well, Skip, I probably look. I personally, I would loan him out for one more season, and get full and see if he can improve. But personally, I don't think he's got it anyway. No. But Daxon G says on cutie after his vice captain role, he scores goals. Look, interesting enough, he's our highest scorer this season with 4 goals. He's popping up left, right, and centre with them. And again, do you know where they're coming from? A lot of them, it's just because he's aggressive in the air. That's all it is. One of the goals was an absolute banger against Burnley, but the other 3 have been him just being more aggressive in the air than anyone else, wanting to get on that ball. Hopefully others can start taking that and they're using it down on the other end to defend set pieces. That would be nice. But in terms of Romero, he's been a bit of a goal machine for us this season, Dark Sun G. Absolutely spot on, brother. And look, I'd love another run bomb today. But guys, I've got 3-4 more questions for you, and then we'll end off and let you all get ready for your watch-alongs and stuff like that. But Dermo, Pedro Porro is back fit and available for selection. He leads our assist charts with 8 assists this season. How big of a boost is his return to the side?
It's a massive boost. It's a massive, massive boost. It's like I called it a week or so ago. We've got the Fab Five back together. It's like the Beatles, the Fab Four. We've got the Fab Five back together. We've got a defense that knows how to work with one another. And we've got 2 wing backs that are so connected in what they do. It's brilliant, and I'm over the moon he's back. I'm not worried about an Emerson starting or Ben Davis starting. I'm not sitting there thinking, Jesus, is Emerson going to start in the fullback? Is Davis going to start there? And Porro, for me, it's great to have him back. And he's had a great season, Porro. And he's really consistently got better as the season's gone on. And he's reveling working on the ranch. So is Destiny. And you can see they're really enjoying their football. We have the best 2 win backs, I think, in the Premier League. I don't think there's any better win backs in the Premier League than probably Kyle Walker at Man City, and probably the ones at Liverpool probably slightly better. But I think we're in the top 3 of win backs. I really do. And having Porro back, that is a major boost for us today. Really is a major boost.
Couldn't agree more, my man. Paul, yourself, you'd like to see Porro back today?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's the best back 4 we've had since Houghton, Miller, Roberts and Perryman. And I like that they complement each other so well. Destiny's speed and dribbling. Van der Ven's, he's so fast, that guy. He's like the Hulk as well. Romero's aggression.
An Olympic medal in the summer, Paul.
Yeah. And Porro's ball delivery and shots. I mean... You've got everything there. I think it's the best back 4 in the Premier League at the moment. I love them. Yeah. I think they're great.
let's not forget, Porro was another one digged out. You know, can he defend? Can he do this and that? But, you know, he's been absolutely sensational this season. He's definitely answered them questions. Look, I think where Porro is going to be a huge asset for us today is actually set pieces. I know a lot of people go, oh, Madison. Look, let's be brutally honest. His set pieces were fucking shocking last week. Most of them,
crap.
you know, didn't get anywhere near where Porro, it's every single ball straight on someone's head, straight in the right area, the danger area. For me, I think that's where he's going to become a huge asset today. Don't get me wrong. I worry slightly with him down that side, with probably Moussa Diaby going down that side up against him, going in behind with his pace and stuff like that. How fit is Porro? Does he have the legs to be constantly making them recovery runs if it's required? Let's wait and see. Personally, if he's not 100% fit, I stick Emerson in just for the defensive solidity. I get, you know, you take a bit of a hit going forward, but what do we pay our attacking players for? You know, I don't want to hear anyone go to me. We didn't score goals because of Emerson. He's not there to be your goal scorer and bag you goals. But if Porro is 100% fit, he slots straight back in, and he's going to give us a different dynamic. You know, not only do we have to rely on Cooley to put in balls, Porro can also do it. You know, can he play something? If Villa do come at the high line, Porro can play them balls like he did for Son against Burnley earlier on in the season, right behind that high line, straight onto his foot to tap home. I think he's an absolute huge asset to have back today. If he's 100% fit, delighted for Pedro Porro, Postman Porro. Delivers UK wide.
You see the benefit to the whole team when you've got those for him, because the midfielders have got confidence to, you know, try something. You know, knowing that if it doesn't work, that they've got backup behind them. That's it. I want a knobhead. You know, whereas when you've got our B players in the defence, the midfield is a lot more hesitant to, you know, have a go and, you know, do a bit of champagne football. So it really affects the whole dynamic of the team.
Mm-hmm. I have to say that, look, we have got a great back four. I think it's a work in progress. I think where Paul was sort of coming from, there is the potential there to become the best back four in the Premier League. I do feel, and they're a young back four as well, so they're going to grow together. They haven't reached their potential yet, and they're all going to reach their potential at the same time. And next season, they're going to have more understanding with Vicario, more understanding with each other, and Ange then will work on them harder. And I think then you will see we will concede less goals next season than we've been guilty of conceding goals this season at the run, too many. We haven't kept a clean sheet, I think, since January.
In 17 games, we haven't kept
17
one clean sheet.
Yeah. Oh, who gives a shit about clean sheets? Yeah, but sakes. Fuck clean sheets.
Please give me a second. I'm going to leave you.
That's how you win leagues and win titles, by keeping it tight at the back. We've made a few mistakes, and I think they will be ironed out. But you're right, we have the potential to have the best back four in the Premier League. We really do. And you got back to the one in the 80s. It took them a season to get well together, didn't it, Paul? It took them a season to really gel together. And you look at the one with Toby and Jan and Walker and Rose and Hugo. It took them a season to get gel together. So it will happen. It will happen. And they've got so much potential. And all we need is the right two midfielders in front of us. If we get the right two sitting midfielders, just sit number 6, just to sit in that back four, to drop in to make it a 5 if we have to, I think we'll be cooking. And I think this is where the one central midfielder in the summer is so vital for that side of our game. If we get a number 6 to sit in front of that back four, Jesus Christ, we're going to be unbeatable next season. I really do.
I mean, you win if we win every game next season, 5-4, we're the Premier League champions, aren't we? So who gives a shit about letting goals in, you know?
Look, I do get what you're saying, Paul, right? I do understand, right? At the end of the day, if you can go win every game 5-4, no problem. I do think, though, you know, that's another thing. You know, if we could just tidy up the clean sheets, just keep a few more, you know, it would help us on our way to a title for sure. I would like to get into that habit of clean sheets. I'd love shutouts every single game and then go.
Well, I mean, for a lot of the season, we had Davies and Royale at centre back as well. So I mean, that.
I agree. Yeah. I think it's been a huge problem. You know, the first 10 games we kept 4 clean sheets in the first 10 games. You know, we could put consecutive results on the board. when others had to step in, we couldn't keep clean sheets, and it's been a massive problem. And I do see people edging that towards Romero, Van de Ven, Porro and Edozie going, are they as good as we think we are? Let's not forget, some of them are coming back from injury and stuff like that. But, you know, and I get since they've come back and we haven't kept clean sheets, but they will come. I'm absolutely convinced of it. Dark Zone G says it would be fun to see Tielemans versus Maddison today, ex-Wolves. What I will say is close down that Tielemans. Do not let him pop any shots off around the edge of the box. Same with John McGinn or Douglas Luiz. If I see them get a free shot from the edge of the box, I am going to crucify one of our midfielders. There is nothing worse than seeing someone stand there and just invite the shot and not actually get out to close it down. It's infuriating, Dark Zone G. So hopefully we don't see any Tielemans screamers today. Dark Sun G also says on Porro, it's great to have someone who can cross a ball and make sure the ball reaches his target, unlike before with Bobo the Clown, who was Orier. I'd also throw Matt Doherty in there as well. He was bloody useless. Whose cross equals a dice rolling sideways Doherty. I mean, that's one thing that used to drive me mad. People coming on telling me, Dave, you're being harsh on Doherty. I had to watch him at the Aviva and stuff like that, you know. I've seen more Doherty than anybody else. The guy was a responsibility shirker. Every time, get the ball, pass it inside, give it to someone else to take that responsibility. A player that was playing scared. Porro, risk taker, get stuck in, aggressive, defensively aggressive as well. You know, now my dad hates all the fist pumping and stuff that he does. I get it. You know, he's old school. He doesn't like that sort of stuff. Me, it endears him into my heart. I'm not gonna lie. And you know why? I'd probably hate it too, you know, if this was new. But the fact that I've seen a squad just before that be so uninterested in being Tottenham players, I mean, for me, that's probably why I get hyped up and pumped up about and react to it, you know, the way I do, Dark Sun G. But look, he's a huge asset. I mean, you've got a right back that can cross a ball, score a goal, you know, take set pieces and defend. I mean, it's like having Trent Alexander-Arnold. You got all the media out there, you know, having a big jerk and circle about Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, Porro's just as good, and nothing ever mentioned of the guy. But look, they'll be surprised next season when he's even better. Big up Dark Sun G. Porro's been an absolute asset. I absolutely love the guy. I think he's absolutely brilliant. But guys, I've got 2 more questions for you, and then we will end off. We'll start with you on this one, Paul. What did you make of the midfield of Bentancur, Bissouma, and Maddison against Crystal Palace? And would you go with the same this weekend?
No, I'd go with Sarr instead of Bentancur.
Why?
I just, whenever Sarr's on the pitch, he's like, there's so much that goes through him. He's so busy, and he's a great midfielder. You know, he's fast. He looks slim, but he's as strong and he's fearless. Absolutely bloody fearless. And I think Bentancur, he's still got a nice touch, but you know, I think the Sarr was just way better. And you know, I really like that combination of Sarr, Bissouma and Maddison in those first games of the season. Yeah. I thought it was really well balanced. So that's what I want, man. That's what I want.
No, look, I'm with you on that. And just to follow up on Papa Sarr, and then we'll get Dermo in here on this one. Paul, would you like... do you find it interesting that Sarr's our youngest midfielder out there in the team? Yeah, his performance has probably been the most consistent of any of the midfielders this season.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, he's always got a smile. I mean, I suppose he's over his injury now. He's had a bit of a back niggle, which Ange said that he's over. I think it's just the fact that he doesn't display fear anyway. So, you know, if things don't go right for him, you know, if he loses the ball, he's always trying to get it back, and he just doesn't seem to be afraid to, you know, try it again, give it another go. He doesn't go into his shell, whereas I think Bentancur, maybe it's just a confidence thing. He went into his shell a little bit when things weren't going quite right for him, whereas Sarr you know, and there might come a game where everything Sarr does is shite, but he's still going to keep trying to do it. And that's what I really like seeing. I thought that a little bit about Maddison last game as well, that some of the things he was doing, they weren't coming off, but he kept on persevering. And then in the second half, he started opening things up. And maybe it's that led Bissouma. It was the first dribble we've seen Bissouma do for a while. And it's like, the boys are back, you know, here we go.
Yeah, it did look like they were starting to maybe find their rhythm in that second half for sure. Look, I'm in complete agreement with you with Papa Sarr. For me, he turns over ball more than any other midfielder we have. He gets in with the press, turns it higher up the pitch as well, but also the cover he gives down that right-hand side. I feel like we're less exposed when he plays there than when he doesn't. And with Bentancur, look, I feel sorry for the guy. He set the standard so high before his injury with his levels of performances. We're all expecting him to come back and just be that player. But realistically, that second injury has sort of hampered him a little bit, and he's struggling to get back to that level. So on that basis, I do bring Papa Sarr back into there. Martin Knightsbridge says, put me on the 90 step for being late. Big up. No, never late, my man. I get it. We started off at 9 this morning. It's Mother's Day. People have lives to live, probably have breakfast to go and get and stuff like that. It's a Sunday. Never need to apologize, my man. We're only here if people are bored and want something to do or actually want to listen to what we have to say. So big up, Martin, my man. Really appreciate you coming in, brother. Really do. But no naughty step for you. We all have lives to live, brother. And hope you and Taylor are still on a high after the last game you were at, my man, which I think was actually the Palace game. So big up, Martin Knightsbridge. Dermo, midfield today, would you go with the same that we've seen against Palace, or do you agree with us that Papa Sarr has to come in?
I would love to disagree with the Perry and just be totally anti with everything.
You're on one today. You want to disagree with everything.
But I can't find an argument in it. I cannot. It has to be Basuma, Sarr, and Maddison, the original Fab Three. Yeah. I mean, Bentancur has not been the same place since he got his second injury. But Papa Sarr, he's played for season for me. He's really has come in and he's done. He's been a maestro in that midfield. And then him and Basuma together, they work, so they gel together. They work off each other. It's like Lennon and McCartney or something like that. They just gel off each other. And it's like
Hinge and Bracket.
Oddle and Waddle. Dave
and Dermo.
Dale Boy and Rodney. Just partnerships that work. Arkwright and whatever the other fella was in Open All Hours. They just work together. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a midfield partnership that's going to go on for a few seasons, and we're probably going to have, as well as having the best defense, we'll probably have the best midfield tree in the Premier League as well. We're a team going places. If we can just get the few players in, by Jesus, you watch us go. We'll be like the rocket heading to the moon, and Artemis 3 landing on that moon, lifting the Premier League trophy.
Love it. Well, guys, we are down to the last question of the evening. Brennan Johnson, Kulizeski. And we'll find out what people want to see. Just quickly, Derek, really appreciate you, my man, by the way. So basically, I asked Derek, did he know any Plymouth fans or any, content creators out there that could get in contact and give us a lowdown at the end of the season about Alfie Devine and Ashley Phillips' loan. And they got in contact with me yesterday, and we're going to organise it for the end of the season. So, Derek Smith, beat yourself up for that. Really appreciate it. And if there's anyone that knows any, fans, an Excelsior fan for Troy Parrott, a Barnet fan for Josh Keeley, please get in contact and let me know. A Sevilla fan for Feliz, players that I think we should be updated on. Please get in contact or put me in with the right people, and we'll deliver more content for you at the end of the season in terms of our loan players and how they got on. So you're not just hearing it from me, but you can hear it from player, people that are watching them week in, week out. So big up, Derek, on that one. Absolute top man. Now, guys, down to Brennan Johnson. Look, Johnson came off the bench in the 3-1 win over Crystal Palace last weekend, providing 2 assists to help the team turn the tide of the fixture. Postecoglou has a massive decision to make today. Does Johnson's impact warrant a start, or should he be used as an impact sub like he was last week? Dermot, we'll go to you on this one because you are Johnson's #1 fan. You are, you did say he's your favourite player at Tottenham there, I think, a few weeks ago. So who do you want to see today?
Look, my heart's telling me, start Johnson, start the man, start the Jedi Johnson. He can do it. And then I realised after an hour, you can see him hopping and piping like he's been round the back of the stadium smoking 40 fags before the start of the game, right? And he's like, boss, you've got to take me off. I need a bit of oxygen here. As much as I love Johnson and I want him to start and I want him to show people how good a player he is, and I know I made a comment last week that he could be as good as Bale. I stand by that, and I won't go away from that. I'm going to stand by that comment, and I stand over it as well, as we famously say over here in some things. I stand over that comment. start him on the bench today. I think he would do better coming on as a super sub, than he would starting, because of he runs out of steam after an hour. That's my only worry. I think he needs a season to get himself fit. The pre-season, have a really good pre-season next season, and start the ground running. So start him as a sub today, super sub. But I'd love him. I'd love him to prove everyone wrong. He has the potential. He has the talent. He has the drive. He has Ange. He will be the next Gareth Bale. I don't care what anyone says. I stand by that. I'm going to stand over that comment, and I will prove you all wrong. And when I am right, you come and apologise at Dermotron's feet. And
right. Well, we'll wait.
I'm just looking at Mrs. Tron making a load of noise for some reason. Anyway. Apart from that, Johnson is the man, and he's going to succeed. So there you go. That's my view. I don't really like him, really. I just think he's all right.
Fair enough. So that's Dermot's point of view. Although he loves him, he wants to see him come off the bench today. Paul, where are you at with Brennan Johnson? I mean, look, I know Ange Postecoglou tries to run it as meritocracy as much as he can. If you perform, you play. If you come off the bench and, you do well, you usually get rewarded with Ange Postecoglou. What do you do today?
I'm with Dermot. I like him. And like, you're comparing him to Gareth Bale. The player I would compare him to would in some ways be Chrissy Waddle, because Chris Waddle when he came to Spurs, it took him a while to fit in, but you could see what he was about, And when he started playing well, he was magnificent. I think it's the same story with Johnson. Well, I think we've been very fortunate that players like Maddison, Vicario, Van der Ven, they all came and they look like they've been at Tottenham for, a season already. And that doesn't always happen. So I've got plenty of patience for Johnson. I loved what he did last week. I think he's getting way too much unfair stick. I think he's going to be a great player. As for starting him, well, I saw it. There was a comment earlier by a guy called George Carteris, who was asking, why are we going in the middle instead of down the line? I think the players are just not doing what they're told. I think Kulu is not. Kulu's not winging. That's what I was saying about last week.
You don't have the wingers.
Yeah,
Werner and Kulu were not winging. They were not going right up there and knocking the ball. It's not rocket science,
Mm-hmm.
Either knock it to the other winger or you knock it to Son. That's what you got to do. And Johnson, see, I think where Johnson's been going wrong is, and he's getting better, is like his decision making hasn't been sometimes great. Whether he should be knocking in or having a shot. But whenever he's done it right, he can deliver a ball in the box like no one else, man. So I probably bring him on as a sub again, because he did fire up. But if he starts, I'm behind the kid. I hope he proves everyone wrong as well, man.
You know what, Paul? He reminds me of a young Tony Galvin. If people are old enough to remember Tony Galvin,
wow,
he could be as good as him. This kid is special. He is, and we're very good at Tottenham of knocking players down early. After one bad game, he's a load of shite.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Gareth Bale. Somebody put in the chat, 24 games it took him to get going.
There you go.
Every game we played, we lost. Chrissy Waddle took time to get going. Tony Galvin took a little bit of time to get going as well, Paul, back in the day. I think Kulu, for me, has been a bigger problem than Johnson. And everyone's been like giving Kulu a pass.
I disagree. Johnson. I completely disagree. I think people don't recognise a lot of what Kulusevski brings. Go back to the Everton game, for instance. Johnson started, right? Didn't have one out ball. Every time the ball went forward, it came back at us. When Kulu plays, that doesn't happen. He holds up the ball. He brings others into play. He can carry the ball if the option isn't on to do that. He can get us up the pitch. Johnson can't do that. Johnson can only be played in behind. He hasn't shown anything else towards his game where he can get on the ball, run at people, beat it, carry us up the pitch, stuff like that. I think that completely gets overlooked when it comes to Kulusevski. Kulusevski, for a large part of this season, I don't know if people knew this or not, but he created the most chances from open play, more than any other Premier League player from the majority of this season. So I do think there's an unfair narrative surrounding Kulu. Let's not forget, how many games did Kulu play down the middle as well because of injuries and absentees and stuff like that? Look, Brennan Johnson, I get it. I think, look, For me, I think it's 50-50. I think he's got great attributes. I just worry whether it's going to click with him or not. I think at the minute he's a bit of a boy in a man's world. I think he needs to change that sort of psyche, believe that he belongs, believe that he can physically match it and stuff like that. I think Johnson, look, I think he's a great impact sub. A lot of his goals and assists this season have come off the bench when teams are tired, when he's got the fresh legs with the pace he's got. You play him down the side, he create havoc. But let's be brutally honest, the games he started this season, what has he done?
Look, he's not been perfect. I'll admit that. I will admit that he hasn't been perfect, but Dave, I can see the potential there. I can see what he will bring. I can see what he can become. And if he puts the right attitude, the right work, the right determination into it, the world is his oyster. We could have some, and Kulu has been good. I'm not knocking Kulu, but I'm just haven't been impressed with him the last couple of games for whatever reason. He hasn't clicked. And Werner has worked his socks off on the other wing. And when Johnson has come on, he's had more assists, I think, than there was a stat. He's got more assists in the Premier League or something. He has done his job. Okay, not every game's been perfect. Not everyone can play a perfect game. But when he's come off the bench, he's set up the goals for Werner for his first goal. He has done the job. He's young, Dave. He's a young lad. You're right to say. You're right. He's a boy in a man's body. He needs time to adjust from Nottingham Forest to Tottenham Hotspur. Kulu has been there longer. You respect more from Kulu than Johnson.
Look, I'm okay for giving Johnson time. We pay 50 million. He ain't going anywhere time soon. Look, he's had good impacts off the bench. Don't get me wrong. But this narrative that he's young. He's 22 years of age. Van de Ven, same age. He's put in a more consistent performance this season. Adoshi's younger than him. He's been far superior than him this season. Papa Matasar's younger than him, being brilliant. I don't buy this thing that he's young. He's 22 years of age.
Yeah, but every player's at different levels, Dave. You know that yourself. Every player developed. Johnson could be a late bloomer.
I don't think it's his age. I think his age is irrelevant. I just think some players take a little bit of time to fit in, and that's all it is. But I'm not worried about it. I think he's going to be great.
I do. I agree what you say, Dave. I know you're making a very good argument, like what you're saying, and you got your facts and you've backed them up, which is true. But if you got to look at the bigger picture, some players are later bloomers than others.
No, look, 100%, I get it. But where I worry is that everyone keeps saying he's 22, get off his case. You don't want him to improve. First of all, no one ever improves without taking criticism. That's just a fact of life.
That's true.
You take criticism. It's up to you how you use that. Do you use that to derail you, or do you use it as motivation? Second of all, this whole thing about him being young has to completely stop. He's 22. Look at some of the other players that have been performing week in, week out this season. Where I worry is, I get what you're saying, that players, they bloom at different stages. 100% correct. But what I don't want this to be is an Ollie skip. People, defended him. He's young for quite some time. He's 23 years of age. He's only got 7 years left at the top of the game. People done it for Harry Winks for so long. He ended up down at a championship club as soon as he left Tottenham Hotspur. This is why we can't be making excuses for these guys. We're not at that point anymore where we need to. You come in, you hit the ground running, or you don't. It's that simple for me. I don't have time to be waiting around on these guys. Look, I get it. He's got great attributes, that pace. I haven't seen someone with frightening pace like him since Aaron Lennon. Absolutely. And I do think there's great attributes there. But I just think he needs to start doing it on a more consistent basis. If he wants to make that jump into the first team and be consistent, he has to do it. He has to be a lot more consistent. I think there's great stuff to his games, but I also think there's a lot that he's lacking to his game that he needs to develop over the course of the summer heading into next season. But I do take all your points about Brandon Johnson. I'm not knocking him or anything like that. I'm asking for more. That's where I'm at with it.
Pre-season's going to be massive for him. This pre-season coming up, it's going to be massive. He has to get this pre-season right too. And I think he will get it right. And I think Ange will make sure he gets it right. He couldn't have a better manager than Ange looking after him and guiding him. So, but no, I take your point as well about Kulu. I do take your points on board, Dave. And it's a good debate to have. And I love it. This is one thing I love about with you and this channel, like Paul's channel as well, a few others. You can have a debate, but everyone respects your opinion. It's not a case of I'm right, you lot are wrong, F off. Especially, you can have your debate. You have yours, we have mine. Paul has his, and we all respect each other's opinion, and we move on, and we see the merit in everyone's argument, and that's what I like about it. And I just want to put that out there. That's what I like about, especially this channel, that you're allowed to say what you say, but you're respected for your opinion as well. And I just wanted to put that out there and big up Dave for allowing us.
I worry about Dave's opinions because, as we know, he is a huge influence on the football club, and they do what he says. So pull your head in, Dave.
I'll be playing for Johnson now, so I will.
He's a huge influence in some of our YouTube channels as well. He comes in the background and starts changing stuff, comments and questions.
I wish I did.
He does.
But look, I want to take this
right now on the bus. You've got Ange, you've got Miller Jedinak, you've got Ryan Mason. They're all huddled round watching Dave, waiting for him to. What should we do, Dave? Should we play Kulu or?
Paul, they're waiting to hear what we have to say. Let's get it right. They're waiting to see what you and me have to say, right? Especially the Aussie Hotspur.
I do want to take this here from Joris just quickly. Then I'm going to let the guys plug their channel, give their score predictions, and then let everyone go and get something to eat before their watch-alongs. Joris Wooter says, Dave, on that basis, Richie has been far worse and terrible. Look, 100%, I get it. But my argument is, as Richie being as bad as people make him out to be, there's two players at the football club that are in double digits. Son, Richarlison. Richarlison only has a few goal involvements less than what Son done, 3 or 4 less than what Son does. But he's played a lot less minutes than Son this season. So, I mean, like when people talk about Richie, is he as bad, or is the problem that other players aren't stepping up in terms of numbers and stuff like that? I'd argue that it's other players around that aren't stepping up and chipping in enough, more so than making Richarlison the problem. When you got 2 players at the club in double digits, are we making one of them a problem? I don't understand it. Personally, I get that most people do not like Richarlison off the back of last season and stuff like that. But take him on this season, he ain't the problem at Tottenham Hotspur this season. He's one of the only 2 players in double digits. If people are saying Son's having a great season and Richarlison only has 4 goal involvements less, and that's goals and assists, then how can Richarlison be absolutely useless and terrible? It doesn't add up. If you're going to make the case that Son has been good, you also have to make the case that Richarlison has been good in that sort of regard. I do understand. I think it's a very popular opinion, but, I think people just need to look at it differently in that regard. That's just my opinion. Sorry, someone wanted to say something there?
I just want to say one game. Sorry, Paul.
And the other thing, you're talking about the first few games of the season and that where our pressing was really good. And Richarlison's a huge part of that. Every time the keeper's got the ball, you got Richarlison running up the pitch. He knows he's not going to get the ball off the keeper, but he rushes him. him. And he's right up his hole, I believe, is the phrase you use. So
I love it.
Just want to say one game that emphasised what Richarlison is all about. Just go back to Sheffield United at home. Scored 1, made 1. That's Richarlison in a nutshell. And what he's done this season has been remarkable. This is his best season since he scored 13 goals for Everton back a few seasons ago. So he could end up beating that record. And I think he can end up with 15 goals this season. And with Sonny out, he's been the player. And I've been his biggest critic. You know I have, Dave. I've really been critical about Richarlison. But he's won me over. What he does off the pitch, 10% of his wages going to an orphanage in Brazil, pays for his own, does his own stuff, like Emerson as well, paid for his own psychiatrist to help him out of the spot he was in. And things like that. These Brazilian players are an example of what a Premier League football should be and could be doing. And I think Richarlison should have a lot more respect, because he does an awful lot off the pitch that people don't know about, and he needs respect. And also, he could end up having his best ever Premier League haul. He's only 3 away from matching his Everton best season. 4 away from beating that record. So, fair play to Richie. Go back to Sheffield United. Scored 1, made 1. What was it, Dave? 10, 15 minutes? How he turned that game around? That's Richarlison in a 15-minute Watch that. That tells you all you want to know about Richarlison.
Look, I take the point that Jarvis was making that, give Johnson another season. No, I'm fine to give him another season. No problem whatsoever. I just don't like the excuses that gets made for some of the bad stuff that he does. That's just where I'm at with it, Joris. I know it's harsh. I know it's extremely harsh. Don't get me wrong. But it's just the way I am, and I can't change, and I won't change for anybody. I'm sorry about that. But look, Martin Knightsbridge says, imagine Dave holding back. Never. Do you know what? Do you know what I would say, Martin? In these roles where I'm hosting, I am learning to hold back a little bit and let everyone else sort of get their opinions in and stuff like that. I'm learning, Martin. Big yourself up, my man. But when I'm a guest, you will know exactly what I'm thinking for sure. I think that's the way it should be, personally. And then just a harmless potato member for 4 months. Big up the Irish Hotspur, the panel and the chat. Big yourself up. But look, I think it's been an absolute great discussion today. I've really enjoyed this, guys, with yourself, Paul and Dermo. Great to have you back again, Paul, as well. I really, really have enjoyed it. But look, guys, I want to give the guys time to plug their channel, because I do have to head off to We Are Tottenham TV, but I want to give the guys time to plug their channel and give me a score prediction. So, Paul, why do people need to get over, my man? And what's your score prediction?
Oh, come on over, Hotspur Hippie. I do streams and I do videos, and I try and keep it light and not so serious. My score prediction, I'll be doing a watch along as well, starting about half hour before kickoff. My score prediction, I was going to go 5-0, but just to piss off the Irish Hotspur, I'm going to go 5-1 because fuck clean sheets. So I'm going to go 5-1.
Love it. That is going to piss me off if we can see one. I want to see 5-0. I won't lie. But guys, please, Paul, absolutely great guy. I've seen a couple of people come in here today sort of with impersonation accounts. They do say, impersonation is the form of flattery, so I take that as a compliment, Paul.
What can you do?
Absolute brilliant guy. Love this guy to bits. He brings me a bit of joy sometimes when I'm a bit down and stuff like that. Puts a smile on my face. Produces a lot of good content as well, actually. I've been hooked on a lot of your videos this week, Paul.
Thanks,
so people, please get over there and smash the subscribe button on Paul's channel. He's a big Spurs fan, like all of us, like all of you guys out there. So get around and share the love. And from one great channel to another, Tron, let's plug it, my man. What's coming up on yours? What's your score prediction?
Yeah, look, if you like what I have to say and you've enjoyed me today, please join me and Mr. Philip Brady, the godfather of the Spurs community, over at THFC Till I Die, your home at Tottenham, past, present, and exciting future under Ange Postecoglou, where we do videos, everything from watch-alongs, which we're doing today. We're doing 15 minutes from kickoff, so just give Paul 15 minutes of your time and then come over.
It takes me that long to sort my shit out.
Yeah,
because I always have problems.
Just come over. I've even got the scoreboard done already, Paul. I'm so organised today. It's unreal because I'm doing 2 watch-alongs, guys. You're not getting 1. I'm giving you 2. We're doing the Aston. Hang on, let me plug my channel. I respectfully let you plug your channel down. You just keep calm. God, you get a Aussie on. It's like you can't shut them up, right? Yeah, we're not getting 1. You're getting 2. We're doing the Villa Tottenham game. Then we're going to do the Man City Liverpool game afterwards as well. So you get double trouble today. And yeah, we've got loads of stuff starting, and the whole channel's getting a rejig for next summer. We've got like graphics and everything. And yeah, hit a subscription. I want to get to 2K before the end of the season. Please do me that great pleasure. And get Dave up to wherever he needs to get, and get Paul up to another 1,000, because I love Paul's content as well. Love watching him. And Paul, you may have to do some more stuff like you and me are the best double act on YouTube.
It's good fun, man.
You and me. Yeah, you and me are the best double act. You and me are the Batman and Robin of YouTube.
When in the Crystal Palace watch along I did, my scoreboard said Tottenham 2, Brighton 0 for the first half. So that's the kind of professionalism you can expect.
I did a watch along once, right? And Philip said to me something. I had my Chris Kamara moment. I've had it on here as well. When I've said, "What was that, Jeff? What did you say?" So I have. If you want a bit of delusional, just come over to my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you,
guys. Please get over there. Show Dermo a lot of love as well. Heading for 2K. Get over there. Smash that subscribe button. Again, him and Philip, another 2 great gentlemen. Always, good friends of mine since I've got to know them and stuff like that. Genuinely nice people as well. Again, always put a smile on my face. So please get across there and show the love. I want to say a special thank you to all of you guys that have got up early and been tuning in right throughout the morning, especially with 1 second, Dermo. I do need to end. No, Dermo, I'm sorry, but I do actually need to end off and get to We Are Tottenham TV.
2-0. 2-0. I was sort of going to say I didn't give my match 2-0.
Okay. Grand. But guys, I just want to say a massive thank you to all you guys. I know that it's a Sunday. I know it's Mother's Day and stuff like that. So I appreciate you giving up your time to tune in here and look at our three ugly mugs, for the last 2 hours. So I do appreciate that. And then I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's gone the extra mile. Spurs GCTV, Phil Coys. We've got Moondog. Oh, I've missed this. Sorry, Moondog. He says, I'm going for a Timo Werner brace. I'd absolutely love a Werner on the dance floor. Big up Matthew as well. Rue Spur. Really appreciate support and good to see you in the building. Faz Radfar as well. We have Dark Sung G, Ribsy. Big yourself up. Make sure I'm not missing anybody here. And Martin's Knightsbridge. And just a harmless potato. Guys, big yourselves up. Really do appreciate the support. Really does help us, try and achieve everything that we want to with this channel. But look, what I would say is, if you have enjoyed it, please smash that like button. Feel free to smash the subscribe button. Make sure you do get over and show these two boys some love as well. And then, guys, we'll be back here at 12:30 for the watch along. Big game today. I must not lose. I do think we're going to probably put in our best performance of the season. I have no basis for my argument whatsoever. It's just going straight off my gut feeling. And I think we'll do a good job today against Aston Villa. But guys, I'm going to go. Do you know what? I'm going to go 3-0 Spurs today. I don't know why I think we have it in us. I really do. Like I said, no basis, probably just being a bit delusional, but who doesn't love that on game day? Guys, that's it from me. I had to heading off to We Are Tottenham TV. Be back here at 12:30 for the watch along. Let's all enjoy it together. Let's go and win a game of football. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
We never stop. Let's go.
Go on, you Spurs.